Sorry while I whip this out. Anyway, hey, welcome to this week's episode of
Getting canceled.
Gamers Council. What? I'm at the sorry. Anyway, what was I talking about? Hey, welcome in, everybody. Yo, thanks so much to everybody being here. We already have 18
coming
people
along
in
tonight.
the chat. Oh, look, the numbers are going down. Oh no. Whoa, hey, RHETRI, buddy, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm tired. I think me and SlowMo caught the same bug. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I was up late last night with the community playing Halo. So
That's awesome.
I can't.
I
don't know if I can.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sending out the bat signal to everyone next time. We had God, at one point I think we had 14 people actually playing with us, which is
wow,
is a record for us. So
that's
yeah,
nice.
it was a ton of fun.
You guys playing customs or you doing big team battle?
Well, we were doing both. When we could fit in the amount of people we had, we did big team battle, but we also did a lot of customs. Like the customs is just too fun. Like it's fun beating up your buddies and teabagging them and showing them who's boss. Yeah. Tron TJ knows what that's about, right, bro?
I guess my
oh man,
I guess my intro wasn't so bad after all, was it?
No, you're good.
Oh, man. Anyway, hey, welcome out, guys. We got to run off the rails, but that's awesome. We'll get more into that actually, because I definitely want RHETRI to talk about that, because I know you broadcast a lot of those game nights. You do too.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, so we have some very special guests with us tonight. Returning for his third time now. Oh my goodness, it is one bad mother. What's up, buddy?
Oh, what is up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well. Thanks for the invite. You guys must like me.
We do.
We do.
Yeah,
We do.
but or there's just you had to go really far down the list this week because everybody was just too busy playing.
Like he can't make it. He can't make it. How's
he's playing
one bad mother?
Spiderman? He's playing Halo. It's like maybe we can get one bad mother. So no, it's great time to be talking about gaming, man. It's like if you can't find something to talk about these days, you probably should be podcasting, right? So a lot of stuff going on. Definitely been playing a lot of different games, but it's always nice just to kind of shoot the crap. Can I swear on this, by the way?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Oh, yes, you can.
All right. Yeah,
with open arms, we embrace the C word, whatever you got. Just wait at least 7 seconds. We're way past the 7 seconds. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think we've used it yet. I might tonight, though.
Just to be clear, before I move on, one bad mother and SlowMo backslap, which he's coming up in a second, were both our first request for this episode tonight. Thank you very much.
Yeah, they were. That's true story. And if he was lying, I would let you know. I'd throw him right under the fucking bus.
He loves running me over with the bus, backing it up, spinning it out on my forehead. He loves doing that. But no, seriously. And SlowMo, we asked first because he was sick the last time, and I know he wanted to come back on. I know he has some bars, and we have a lot to talk about. So we definitely wanted to give him a chance to get back on again. Because, and like I said, he's this is your third time too. So congratulations on that. Yeah. So SlowMo, as we do that, welcome to the show, buddy.
Glad to be here. I like you guys, so I like the just jump in and mix it up, get into these topics. I think it's going to be a good show. I know I got shut out a little early, but I promise to give you all the slanderous takes that I have that I can muster in this 1 hour. You're gonna get it all.
It's gonna be jam packed. Yeah,
awesome.
I love it.
And of course, my co-host with the most host, it is RHETRI. What's up, buddy?
Yay! What's going on? I'm good. I'm glad to be here. I know I'm tired. But we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about Philly cheesesteak Spencer and the web slinging bugs and all that shit. I'm not here to tell you not to buy Spider-Man because I'm gonna do it. Spoiler alert. But we're gonna talk about it. I kind of want to talk about the whole thing that's going on Twitter back and forth. I find it a little funny. Kind of the slander that's going back and forth with guys like J-Rock. Shout out to J-Rock. He was actually playing with us last night.
Nice.
And some of these other guys that I feel like almost like it's weird that we can't talk about. It's like taboo to talk about Spider-Man having bugs and shit. Like, who cares? Like, we did it with Starfield. It's just weird to me. But we'll get into that after. We'll broach that subject when we cross that bridge. So
RHETRI, our first topic. It's already on the screen right there, buddy. Where are we going first?
Yeah. So I'll ask you, One Bad Mother, what have you been playing lately? Any TV shows, movies, any pop culture stuff that you've been enjoying? So we'll start off with games, though.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of TV movies, I have to partition my time carefully, and it's pretty much all gone to gaming. This year, in general, it's all gone to gaming. I have not sat down to watch very much TV at all, unless I'm just with the with the lady. But by myself, it's just been gaming whenever I can fit it in. And other than I did watch my Lions. They caught a seed today, but anyways, I was just listening to Iron Lords before this. They kind of got that stuff going, but anyways, for gaming, I just beat Lies of P for the third time yesterday.
What, really?
Yeah,
dang, man,
that is one of my top games of the year, and I don't know.
I like Lies of P.
That's a game that I probably would not have purchased with how many great things came out this year.
Right.
It was one of those things that I was like, yeah, I'll give it a little shot, a little bit of downtime. And that thing just the more I played it, the more engaged I got in it. And I beat it and I leveled up some items. And I'm like, oh man, this thing that I just leveled up was so much fun. Let me go play it a little bit longer on the playthrough number 2. And I did that. And then I leveled up some other things. And it's like, you know how that is. Anybody who's beat Dark Souls and done New Game Plus knows how it is like to try to go back through and, those bosses that took you, maybe more than an hour, I want to see if I can just smoke that guy this time. And one thing led to another and I got through 3. But after that one, I finally, I'm putting it down until DLC comes out. I have jumped into some Halo. I bummed that I missed you guys last night.
Oh man, yeah.
Next time, I
will go on my way. I'll go out of my way to make sure I at least send you a message. I know some of us like go invisible on Xbox sometimes, and I do that a lot too.
I was on last night actually, and I was invisible. So
people are like, "Oh, you haven't played for a while." I haven't.
On Xbox for like 2 years now. Like, oh
really?
Yeah. Every time I go visible, it's just like random invite spammed at me for games I'm not even playing. I'm just like, no, I'm good. I'm not playing Destiny. I'm fine. I'm playing this other game. Like, why are you spamming me invites? I just turn it off.
The risk of it too is that I get along with lots of different people, but lots of different people don't get along with lots of different people.
Yeah, that's
sometimes
true.
You have people come into the same party. You're like, oh boy, this is not going to be good. I should have closed it out or gone in biz or something. So. That's one of the reasons I do that. It's and I just try to jump around with whatever friends I do see on there. But yeah, like Halo is I don't know if we're talking about that at all, but man,
we will be. Yeah,
man, yeah. That my impressions after a few days of that are great, and can't wait to talk more about it. But those are that's the 2 main things. A little bit of Forza Motorsport. I feel like I need to wait though until they fix the AI in that, because the AI in that is ridiculous if you're trying to drive clean, which the game encourages you to do. It's weird because the developers, they put all these rules around it. Is like, we're really going to encourage clean driving, and then the first turn, yesterday I got hit 6 times on the first turn. I started in the middle.
It was my avatar.
I try to start in the middle of the pack because it gives you some cars to pass up, because that's fun, right? Like trying to pass up cars and everything. And I got hit, and then somebody else spun me out, and then another car hit me in the, T-boned me. I tried to turn myself around. I got hit 3 more times before I got on the track. It was ridiculous. And, and I feel like it drives so well that I want to play that, but it needs a little bit of tweaking, I think, before.
A little bit of love.
Yeah, so I might put that down and just kind of bounce between Halo and Alan Wake's coming up. So, but anyways, that's it for games for me.
Nice. SlowMo, what you been playing, brother?
Well, let's see.
Everything.
Last week, yeah, everything. Like last week, I did my replays through Spider-Man 2018 and Miles Morales, and then rolled that right into Spider-Man 2. So I'm currently probably about maybe a third of the way through the main story of Spider-Man 2. But I intend on platinuming that game, so it's like there's a bunch of different like side quest lines that I've already completed that I kind of like went on tangents with, but like I'm enjoying it so far. I played a little bit of Halo Infinite. I need to play more of it. Next time I do a game night, definitely let me know. I'll
for sure.
I'll slide on in.
All right, cool.
I've also been playing. I
let it wait a little bit.
Slide on it.
Yeah.
All right. No. I've been just jumping around with a lot of different games, and it had to start focusing in on like locking in on a few to kind of just like complete them and get them off the backlog.
Right. So yeah, exactly.
It's getting a little, looking at my install list, I'm just like, wow, that's a lot. It's just growing. It's growing. So
yeah.
And then Alan Wake 2. Even though I'm not really into survival horror, I'm going to play that. It's just it looks so good.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm doing myself a disservice and not at least trying it. So I survival horror, like I'm not really into. Oh, we're gonna give you like 2 guns and 3 bullets between those 2 guns.
Yeah, I think that's what I kind of don't like about survival horror. I love survival horror, but I want more bullets. Just give me more enemies, but not having bullets scares the shit out of me.
But Remedy's games are so weird and cool. Like they're not just your typical survival horror. They have a unique weirdness.
Like because original Alan Wake wasn't like quite in the vein of this one. This one seems more like a Resident Evil kind of game. The original Alan Wake was different, and then Quantum Break was more like a sci-fi action game, and Control is just weird, but I loved it because the combat and the powers were so great. I just really enjoy how Remedy just seems to not really care about, well, people expect this from us. They just like, hey, we want to go in this direction. We're going to go in that direction. And, and they also seem to not care about what hardware you got because.
Have you guys seen? Oh boy, yeah, I can't talk.
Oh man, those PC specs made people cry in their PCs. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to test it on GeForce Now with the 4080 in the cloud and all that stuff.
Oh, cool.
Just to see. The big difference between my rig, which is really not all that far. The only thing the GeForce Now experience would give me that my rig doesn't have is the GPU thing, because I have a 3080 Ti. But I'm gonna get into it. It's gonna be fun. And
does the GeForce Now allow? Sorry to interrupt. Is it like up to 120 frames now? Like what's it at for?
Oh yeah,
frame and res?
The max is 120 frames streamed to you. So that they even have a counter that you can pull up, and it'll show you what your what your latency is, what the actual game frame rate is, and what the stream frame rate is. So it's like the game could be at like 144, but like you're getting
but you're getting that kind of I got you. That's cool to know. I like that though.
It's a cool experience. I like it. I think it's the best cloud game experience you can get. But
I don't think that's up for argument, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I like to go back and forth between that and my PC just to kind of like test some things out. But I'm definitely going to jump into that one and maybe Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 when it comes out as well. I pre-ordered that so I can play the beta and the movement. They nailed the movement. The movement is so good now.
I agree.
SlowMo, how would you compare that? How would you compare that to the last few? Like, does 2019 really resonated? That was really the only one in modern time that I got hooked on. Which I know I'm unique in that. How does this like compare to all those that have come out recently?
I think this one definitely for me really kind of like strikes the right chord for Call of Duty for me. Last year, I really enjoyed last year. I think visually last year still actually looks better visually than this year's game, which is weird to me. But the no ability to slide cancel last year is kind of a downer, and slide canceling is back.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think the movement. I think if you try this one out and you really enjoy Call of Duty movement, you're gonna like this new one.
You're gonna either love the movement or hate it, because if you can't slide cancel and do it great, everyone else is gonna be able to whoop your ass.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like when Activision either takes slide canceling away or brings it back, you like automatically 50% of the community is like F that, and the other 50% is like, yeah, it's back. You know, I'm with you, Slow. I'm like, yeah, it's back.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna try to utilize it. So
and for me, it's cool either way. Like I enjoyed Modern Warfare 2 last year because like I just kind of feel like if you're good at shooters, you're good at shooters. So you're gonna have a good time, whether like how good of a time you have is dependent upon like what the tools are available. But like, you know, I can aim straight and I can shoot people in the face. I'm good to go. So yeah, I'm gonna enjoy it regardless. It's like not everyone enjoyed Modern Warfare 2019. I see a lot of people didn't like 2019.
I know, I do see that, and the thing is, like most Modern Warfare, I mean, most Call of Duty, I'd pick them up and I give them a little bit of time because all my friends would be on it, and it just never hit for me. Like it didn't feel heavy enough. It's hard to explain, but like the gunplay and the movement just never felt. It always just felt like a slightly floaty. In 2019, I think they grounded it more. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of expertise when it comes to evaluating like their map design and things like that. But it for some reason it clicked with me, and I played that one for a long time. Probably one of the most played games last generation, and really the only Call of Duty that I've ever played. I think more than 30 hours, which is, you know, like I know most people play it hundreds of hours every year, but I am gonna give this one another shot. A lot of the downsides of this one, from what some people are saying, like the fact that it's classic maps recycled, this and that. The thing I kind of like about this, and I think this comes from like almost like a Halo fanboy perspective, is that sometimes the classics are classics for a reason.
Yes, thank you. Exactly.
And as somebody
it's funny. Like people, when it comes to COD, it's almost like when you recycle maps, people complain about it, and we beg for it on Halo. Yeah. It's we beg for it on Halo.
I would love them to bring back Hang On High.
Right,
I promise I won't complain.
I wonder.
And especially for somebody that hasn't like been overexposed to all the past ones, right? Like, so you're going to tell me this is a greatest hits. That sounds like a great place to come back, right? And 2019 is the only one time I spent a lot of time on these. So if you're going to tell me these are some of the best playing maps, and you have the movement back, and it feels like classic, the best of the classic stuff, not too much of the frilly stuff added on, then that sounds great. I am an old head. I am old man yelling at the clouds, and sometimes getting that balance of the that classic feel and some and just balance is that's what's more enticing to me than all the bells and whistles. So yeah, I hear you. So SlowMo, I'll be on with you, I guess, when it comes out.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm playing that one too, man. I love my shooters. I'm COD, Fortnite. Halo kind of took a back seat until this season, which is fire, which we will talk about later. I'm telling you, I really do feel like Pierre, the new leadership under 343. Something's hitting on all cylinders, in my opinion. Like last season was good. This season, in my opinion, is better. We got a lot more stuff to look forward to with Halo as well, but I'll get back to that. We'll start.
I think an underrated, just real quick, an underrated change that people have been begging for them to make. Having your armor coatings be able to be put on more than one piece of armor. I was just like, thank you.
With changing the helmets on the armor cores is a big deal for a lot of people. They've been begging for that forever.
$10. You spend $10 on something and you only use it on 1 out of 6 armors. Like what?
Right.
Like what is that?
Yeah,
really. Let me put that on everything. Let's go.
Yeah. Now when you buy something from the store, it's like it feels like you get a lot more. You can play with it a lot more, right? Otherwise, it's like it's either or. it's too binary. It's not that interesting, right? Like if you get something that's cool and there's one way to use it and everybody uses it the same way, it just that really reduces the I don't know, the excitement of something like that. So yeah, I agree with you. I'm not even a person that's way into the customization, but that just makes so much sense to me, is that the amount of variables that you can put in there and the creativity of different designs and things like that. And the fact that they ever designed, I'm somebody that still thinks that, when they launched it, they had a lot of good bones to the thing. It just wasn't ready for, the content for live service. But that is one bone that needed, that was wrong. Because it doesn't make sense. If you're going live service, it didn't make a lot of, like, it sucks a lot of it sucks a lot of the creativity out of it. It takes a lot of the Halo out of Halo customization. It just was something that you just wonder, I'm sure they sat in a room and it's like, hey, we could sell more if we limit the amount of, uses. But I think it works reverse, and I think you're starting to see that because you see a lot more excitement coming from it. But anyways, I'm off on Halo tangent again. We'll wait.
No, we're good. we're gonna ring back around to that anyway, so we'll be able to talk about it for sure.
RHETRI, what about you? Anything you're playing or watching before we get in these super chats?
Yeah, I finished Starfield the story finally.
Okay.
I put a pause on it for a while because, there was just too many games coming out. I wanted to try Gotham. I wanted to try Liza P. I wanted to try Cocoon. Everything I'm touching, I'm liking. Like, there's not a single game. Like, I think Gotham's better than the score that people gave it. I loved Cocoon. I already finished that. I'm back into Halo now. Like, there's just so much stuff to play. But I had to go back to Starfield. I'm like, I got to do it because if I don't go back, there's just too much stuff in my back catalog. I'm easily distracted. I'm a grazer, so I had to go back. I finished the story. I love the story. It's actually I think the story, even though I kind of guessed it what was happening. Probably halfway through. I do enjoy it. I like it. Finally finished that. I'll go back and do New Game Plus. I don't know when. I don't know fucking it's too much. There's too much going on, man. But yeah, and of course Halo. So
there you go.
And watching stuff. I started watching the what's the show that we like, Dave, on YouTube? The Fear. I almost call it Fear Factory.
You mean
Project Fear? Right there, right in your shirt. Project Fear. Back at watching Project Fear. If you like scary stuff, and
great. Yeah,
it's a good show. It's a good show.
Well, God, dude, just to catch up, we have, oh my gosh, over 70 people in the chat right now. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. We greatly appreciate you and do not take you for granted. So please remember that. If you have questions, you have comments, we're going to try to do our best to get them to jump up on the screen. And of course, if you do have super chats, things like that, we do take those as well, but it's not necessary. So if you're really got to make a point, that's cool. So a couple of quick things now. We got to welcome out a new member, but she's actually a re-up member, which we appreciate that. FarQ. Love having him there. FarQ. Oh, no. FarQ.
Yeah. FarQ was with us last night. 3 o'clock in the morning. This guy from London's playing with us. So shout out to you, FarQ.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
He was with us.
And so many great members in the chat right now. And also, we did get a super chat earlier in the week, and he's in the chat. And I want to make sure that we call it up. But it was earlier in the week. So in the comment, for some reason, didn't show now. But we do want to say thank you so much to Adidas
20 with the $10 super chat. I think I might be wrong, but I think he was just saying something like, I thought it was in the comments, like something like, "What's up, Dave?" or something like that, or "You're the shit, Dave." I don't remember, something along those lines. So, but
you know what, RHETRI?
Think I'm right.
I'm looking at the screen right now.
Am I crazy?
And it no,
or just make that up.
Says, "What up, WebDave and RHETRI?" There you go.
Okay, there we go. All right. I knew it was something along those lines. What's going on, Adidas? Appreciate you, brother.
Do appreciate you doing that, sir. That is awesome. And I mean, we're we got so many things to talk about. So many fun things to talk about. Good things. I've got a little rant corner we're going to be bringing up a little later. A couple of things that I ran across that I bookmarked, and we're going to talk about from RHETRI. I'll be throwing him those curveballs. He loves those.
I love curveballs. It's my favorite baseball fan here.
It's only fun.
Yeah,
it's only fun. So, RHETRI, what is our first topic, and what are we going to get things going with?
We're talking about Phil Cheesesteak's interview that he did with the official Xbox podcast, guys. Obviously, this was the coming out party. The coming out. It's a boy. It's an ABK boy. Team Green is now officially with ABK. It's all one big happy family now. So he was talking to those guys. Obviously, it was more of a celebration of bringing in Activision Blizzard into the fold. But there was some things like talked about. He wanted to square away, get us like Game Pass guy like myself, like to shut up and stop bugging him about when these back catalog games are actually going to hit the service, which seems like it's not going to happen anytime soon. And I guess it's what's your definition of soon? Not in the next 2 months and 8 days or whatever. So I guess we're not going to see bunch of CODs, Spyros, crashes, whatever, Tony Hawks. I don't think we're going to see that for a little while. And it's kind of understandable. There's a lot going on. And I guess I'm okay with that because my back catalog is bad. So I need that time to catch up. I'm still trying to play like Forza Motorsport. So, but Phil did mention games like that he would like to see, revisited, games like StarCraft, of course, which is a popular one, and Guitar Hero. But, and I love asking this question, so I'll ask it. I've asked it a million times with other guests, but I'm going to ask you guys, what do you personally want to see? I'll start with you, SlowMo. What do you want to see come back from ABK if Xbox was to choose something to come back from the back catalog?
Prototype.
Yes,
I love prototypes so much. It was just like the overpowered nature of your abilities. Like you just run and just wreck everything. To if you felt like playing around with stuff and just start some drama and then go impersonate some civilian on the street and just watch all the authorities run by you and not know where you are. Like it was just so good. I think if they did bring it back though, they would have to kind of, because the game design of the open world is a bit archaic. It's a little crackdown open world, sandboxy. I think they need to kind of like draw it more towards a narrative, like because the story. We play Prototype. The story is kind of nonsensical. Like what's happening? I don't know what's going on. Whatever, right? Yeah, but
the whole virus thing, and it was a little weird, but I think it definitely could be updated.
Yeah, they made it a little bit more narrative driven, a little bit more focused, where there's more of a focus on getting through that a main story narrative instead of just, hey, here's a bunch of points that we want you to just destroy everything there and move on. I think that would be better. But I think in this kind of gaming climate, with the way the abilities were in Prototype, it would do good. I think it would do good in this environment.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's super fitting like for today. I don't think you have to adjust like his superpowers that much, Just what would you want? Would you want like a remake, a full remaster? Or would you be good in like you want like it coming back, or would it just coming back and back compat be good enough?
I think what they would need to do is to kind of like build up a audience, rebuild up an audience for the game. Take the first game, not the second one, because the second one kind of sucked. But take the first game.
Yeah, I agree.
Get outsource that to a studio. Get a little remaster going. Not nothing serious, but just give it a nice little visual upgrade. And throw that into Game Pass, let people enjoy it, go, oh, okay, this is nice. Meanwhile, you got an actual team building an actual like full-on true like sequel to the original game, right? And then you can go forward with like an actual full-on narrative. Give me some cutscenes. Let's get a little mocap going on. Let's get some Hollywood actor, some B actor out there to come in and do the mocap work. You don't want to pay for A-lister.
We don't need Vin Diesel. Does not have to star in this. We don't need it.
No, we're good. We're good. Let's get someone that's someone that's probably been on CW or something, right? Let's get somebody like that. bring them on in here.
I love how you say B. Like, I love how you go B actors. And the first thing you think of is CW. I love that. I'm always making fun of the CW. So
I can't help it. They also can't help it either.
They can't.
But just get them in there, mocap them up, have a great time. I think that will work.
Yeah. What do you think of, like, if talking on the whole, like, game, like all the games from ABK coming out, and like I don't want them personally, I don't want them to all come out like 20 at a time, kind of like Bethesda, what happened with Bethesda when they come out. And maybe it's a good idea for them to use games like Prototype as a test.
Yeah.
Like, you put it out like one game a week or something like that, and you see what the engagement for a game like Prototype is. And then that gauges your, decision making on, does that get a remake based on how many Game Pass subscribers bother to play?
Because if you decide to do a remake, it's going to get its own little time frame, and then you'll see it, see it on the market without any influences, maybe probably pushing it down. If you, I remember having this conversation with my co-host Forte. We were talking about Call of Duty, and when they bring out Call of Duty next year, and I was like, they probably shouldn't do them all at once, because the more popular older CODs are going to be the ones that everyone's going to jump on. The least popular ones, like say Infinite Warfare, for example, is going to get less attention. But if you stagger it and you put like the least popular ones in, and then maybe like every month you drop 2 more Call of Duties in there, people would then play the ones that, like, I really want to play Modern Warfare 2. But since Infinite Warfare is in there, I haven't played that. And let me just jump in on Infinite Warfare. And you might actually get people who, years removed from whatever preconceptions they may have had, or people who have never played it before, and they're just playing it because it's in Game Pass. They might be like, oh, man, this was fire. Why was people hating on this? I don't know. They might actually really enjoy it. And I think that goes for all of the other ABK catalog as well. Stagger those games. Don't put Prototype up against like a Crash game or something, like give it some room to breathe, so that people will be like, oh, I remember that game, I'll try it out, instead of I'm gonna get the Prototype after I play this one. And the story, the answer to that story is, you're not going to get to Prototype. By the time you get through some of those games, you're going to be playing something else that just literally just came out, and it's going to become a part of your backlog.
Yeah. I like Sin saying, you do realize that if Xbox decided to drop 1 a week from ABK's library and Game Pass, they could legitimately keep that going for nearly 3 years straight. I mean, you're not wrong.
Do it.
Maybe,
Do it.
But I mean, I like the drip feed idea. Maybe not to that extent, Sin. But SlowMo was like, go ahead, take 3 years.
I say do a few a month. You can do like every 2 weeks when you do your drop, or twice a month or whatever.
Yeah,
maybe have a couple games in there. But other than that, I do agree with you, SlowMo. I think that rather than stacking them, give these different franchises a chance to be highlighted and see what the engagement is. Because maybe you end up finding that there's a whole nother generation that never grew up with, for example, Tony Hawk, that all of a sudden finding out they really like Tony Hawk.
Right.
Or
like Singularity. There's a lot of people who didn't play Prototype. Singularity, like the Spider games.
I can't even comment on those. Yeah. So and those ones have me curious too, because I know there is people that really do love those games, and I'm not going to rush out to buy them, but if they're going to be thrown in the Game Pass, I'll definitely try to. Curiosity will definitely get the better of me, and I'll check those types of things out.
They published Sekiro, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they published it. Oh, there's a whole war going on Twitter about Sekiro right now. It's like
Sekiro definitely needs to be in Game Pass next year.
It was in the trailer. It was in the trailer that they put out. So I don't know, man.
That gives me a lot of hope, because I never had that when we were talking about ABK the last 2 years, I guess. That was never. That was never a franchise that I had on my top of
like
mind.
Your bingo card or what you wanted.
Yeah. Well, not because in fact, out of everything that's in their portfolio in terms of modern games, that's my favorite one by far. It was one of my top games of the last generation. I just was under the assumption that it was a From Software one-off, and the chances of getting that to happen again was probably light. I from what I believe that FromSoft is not looking to do exclusives. I think that's one of the reasons why we haven't seen a Bloodborne 2, right? I think there is something about that they like the they like their games to be everywhere. So, but based on the way Microsoft's kind of treating ABK, that's probably very doable, right? Just hey, you got to throw it in the Game Pass, but the flip side of that is it stays multi-plat. I think that's probably the only way you're going to get them. I don't think FromSoft is taking any exclusive bags anymore. I think they're done with that. So
I agree with that. I'm okay with that. Like, you know what?
Hey, you give me Sekiro too. I don't care.
I do not care as long as it hits Game Pass. I don't care who else has it. I just don't give a shit.
And Sekiro was, for anybody that likes that type of game, those FromSoft games, definitely has its own identity. It doesn't play exactly like any of those other ones.
Definitely very parry heavy.
Very parry heavy. I love that though. That I thought like this to me like shows just how.
Oh, we know you like Liza P, and you beat it 3 times, so you clearly like parrying. There's plenty of that in that game, dude.
It was, but it was really unique the way they applied it. It wasn't just like your typical, parry mechanic. It's like you're trying, like they actually I think they were the first to really make it where you're wearing down your opponent. It almost felt like a boxing match a little bit. It's like, it's almost like you're Muhammad Ali, right? Like you're playing defense until you wear them out, and then you go in for the kill shot.
Right.
And I thought that dance with the bosses and everything gave it a super addictive, super like a unique, just super high quality, well balanced dynamic that like a lot of those types of games don't have. And I would love to see what they do with the second version, especially if you can get Miyazaki to still lead that, see if they can go even, take it another level. There wasn't a lot of flaws with that, but it's hard for me to go, well, if they just fix this or that. There wasn't a lot of areas for that I would say, well, I hope they fix this in the next one. But I just would love to see what they do again, because that's one of those games that under ABK, it seemed like they were experimenting a little bit for a while with some of these games, but they never really, from what we heard, like Grub mentioned it, and I think others who were connected mentioned it, that ABK previously, if they didn't see potential for your franchise to be $1 billion franchise, they were canceling them left and right. That's why they have so many employees. They have, all those employees at Blizzard. They hadn't been releasing a lot of games, and a lot of it was they just kept canceling things. It's just like that. This wasn't going to go big time enough. It's not opportunity cost. It's not worth it. We'd rather just have you. We'll just put you on Call of Duty instead. And now something like that, where you probably were like, well, I don't see Activision Blizzard, going for another Sekiro. Been saying it wrong, but another Sekiro. Now it makes so much sense, especially because how big FromSoft is blown up with Elden Ring. You kind of, you would own the marketing on that, obviously, as the publisher, and what it could do for Game Pass and across all devices, right? I think that that could be a big one. And I've gotten some of the shows before and I throw out some ideas, but now that I'm like, that's realistic based on that trailer, I'm probably going to put that at the top of the list as well.
Okay, fair enough. Did you have a secondary game that you want to see, or that's your end all be all?
Yeah, the one I always usually mention is Geometry Wars.
Yeah, I love that, because everyone. It's like everyone loves Geometry Wars, but most people, when I ask that question, no one's saying Geometry Wars. Like, yeah, we need Geometry Wars back. I love that.
When it comes to something to play in your ROG Ally or portable,
right?
I mean, what's more perfect?
Perfect game for that.
And Geometry Wars is nostalgia. It was like the first big arcade game on Xbox 360, wasn't it? Like like Hexen, I think
I think so.
Was a download that came free, but that was like the first. It was $5. I think it's the only game I've ever 100%ed when it comes to achievements. I never shoot for those, and man, I mean, that was a game where my daughter was just born then, and she sit in my lap, and I just played Geometry Wars for hours because Perfect Dark sucked. Right, SlowMo?
Right.
So there wasn't
slander.
I wasn't playing Perfect Dark. So, after I got done with Condemned, it was time to just play Geometry Wars for like hours upon hours during that launch period. So yeah, that's my number. That's my other number one.
I like it. It's very different, and that's why I love having people like you and like SlowMo always, like when I'm always asking like what you guys are playing to, like SlowMo comes out with these, some of the times he comes out with games I've never even heard of, and I love that shit, you know. We got a super chat if you want to bring that up, Dave.
We do, and we actually as we do that, we actually have a new member real quick. I want you to read his name out.
Okay. Me like a D. Okay. Me like a D Bobies. I know what that really is. Touche, sir. I'm wondering if you're someone else that I know. You just made up name up, or if you're congratulations. Thanks for being a YouTube member. Appreciate you, man. Highlander 000 with the $2 super chat. Fawn said Sony gave up marketing rights to COD. Is that confirmed?
That's what the story's going around.
I'm hearing
really? That's
so weird because last time I heard that was complete BS, and that now it's like coming back around.
Well,
like I'm hearing now it might not be
something else. That let me see if I can pull it up real quick as we ramble on, and welcome out the over 100 people in the chat. I gotta. Where the hell's my bookmarks? Ding, 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 ding.
Well, anyways, I'll
go ahead. Yep.
You know what? Quick, I'll bring up another point, just so we can get rid of this thing in case people didn't know. So Phil was asked about COD, Modern Warfare 3, exclusive DLC, content, skins, all that jazz. So none of that's happening, guys.
Right.
It's going to be content parity across the board. That doesn't surprise me. Microsoft had enough BS with the regulators. I think it's just easier to have content parity for everybody. Everybody's happy. Nintendo, Sony, all the streaming services, y'all get the same stuff. So I don't really have too much of an issue with that. It's fine. It is what it is. The only difference is Nintendo resolution and frame rates. We all know that's not going to be on parity. So, but go ahead, SlowMo. What are you saying?
Why would Sony give up marketing rights like weeks before the game launches? I mean, this would be the most important time to have the marketing rights to the game, because the game is imminently coming out. The marketing for the game is going to ramp up at this time period, and this is the last time you're going to get it, because they had it set up where it was supposed to end next year with one more game. But then, because they never planned on having a game coming out this year, But then, like they flipped it where they forced the content of this year to be an actual release. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is your boy right here, Forte, but this doesn't say anything. This is just the game, though. Like, I don't know why people are taking this as like marketing. It's maybe the endowment, maybe this exclusive crap.
Well,
like,
see, you can't
over there.
When you have a marketing exclusive, you cannot market in a store.
Yeah, he wasn't allowed to put stuff up like that in the store prior to this. So maybe he relaxed some things, but like as far as commercials go, when they run a Call of Duty commercial, you're going to see PlayStation at the end instead of Xbox or all the devices. Yeah.
What do you think about this though, SlowMo? Because we gotta assume that Call of Duty marketing costs a fortune, right? Like,
hundreds.
And I'm assuming there's probably a business deal there, especially if Sony is, focusing on maximizing profits this year, where they're going like, well, hey, the mind share, when people are talking about Call of Duty right now, the mind share is immediately going to Microsoft regardless. It is kind of a weird spot for us to be in. Like I could see a world, and I could see it also what you're saying too, that hey, why not maximize it? You are halfway through the generation. You just get through this halfway point. It's going to not matter as much for the second half of this generation. You buy yourself time. But at the same time, I could also see it where they're just like, hey, all the conversation, everybody knows Microsoft owns them now. It's been the biggest news for 2 years in gaming. And, they're going to start throwing at this point, maybe they just start to pivot and say, hey, give us that money. Or, Microsoft, not only, do we not have to pay you for that, you give us a little bit more. And I think I could see a situation where it makes sense for both sides to shift the market.
You can argue, you can argue this easily.
There's probably a bag of cash that makes sense for Sony. It's just does that make sense?
Yeah.
Would it make sense for Microsoft to go ahead and do that? That's what.
Yeah, like if they paid them their money back, like if they broke it down, like you got marketing for 5 years. That's and this is X amount of games, and we just split that. Like, hey, this is the percentage of that you paid for for this game. We'll give you that plus 10% or whatever. Maybe you can stop laying your employees off. I don't know, right? And then you can use that. Clearly you need the money, and so you take the money, and then you just give up on the whole Call of Duty market. At least relax some of this. Like commercials are already made. We don't expect new commercials to be made, but we can then now when people walk into a GameStop, they can see Xbox on a banner for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 versus it's just PlayStation everywhere.
Right.
And yeah, makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt.
I
just
go ahead.
I just wanted to we have so many great people in the chat right now. I mean, we got I guess looks like Fonz's show wrapped up already. So but shout out to Fonz. We love Fonz gaming. Fonz is absolutely amazing, and his show is on an hour before ours, and a lot of times cross over. So we encourage everybody to go watch his show and then come see us afterwards, which a lot of people do, and we greatly appreciate that. I just want to shout out to Fonz. We're working on maybe one of these days having him on one of our bonus shows. We'll talk more about that in the future if we're able to do that, because since time slot he's the same time we are, so we can't really be on in the same time. And then he has to go to work afterwards too. So, we have so many great people in the chat. We've even got John Wolf is in the chat. Latino. Oh my goodness, we did. We have him in the chat. Let's see. Oh my god. Oh, and of course,
is he out of the hospital already?
I think so. His knees.
His knees. Yeah, like that knee replacement surgery.
Yeah,
I'm glad. It must have turned out well.
I think you're right. That right. And then of course another one of our favorites.
Why so serious?
I knew you were gonna play that.
What?
Nothing. I saw him in here. I'm like, there's no way Dave's not gonna play that.
I have a soundboard for a reason. Hey,
I know you do.
John.
I know you do.
Oh, and he's laughing at you, SlowMo.
SlowMo. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. I didn't want to get derailed, but I do want to. RHETRI, on your question though that we had before we got kind of sidetracked with the super chat, which is awesome. Read the follow up the Highlander put on the screen.
Yeah.
Put on there, and then.
And I have this isn't news to me. I've heard this from a pretty good insider that specifically told me exactly what Highlander is saying. I just don't know if I'm buying it. Fonz said Microsoft is paying Sony to giving up the rights for what was left. Maybe. I mean, it feels like an option, feels like an obvious option, but I don't know if Microsoft. But again, like, I love Microsoft, and they're doing great on marketing now, man. After I seen the Vegas thing, they're doing all kinds of ads. They nailed it with their 2-minute ad for the ABK. They are on a roll. They're back with Monster Energy drink. They're just like everywhere right now. I don't know if I buy it because it's Microsoft, and I just feel like they're just gonna toe the line to not make any waves whatsoever, in my opinion, but I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope they do that because I'll save $70. So.
Well, I think there's one other thing to consider. I mean, we know that Microsoft and Sony just inked the deal, right? The 10-year deal,
right?
A lot of times
that's part of it, maybe.
Yeah, a lot of times those types of deals are not just, again, they're not just binary. It's just not, hey, you just for 10 years. There could be a lot of other things in there, like it could have been the parody stuff. There might even be, and I know some people won't want to hear that, and I don't know anything on this either, but there might even be some things like, hey, yeah, we won't have the exclusive marketing, but we're also, you still got to throw our name on the commercials too, right? When you so there could be that. Like I wouldn't put anything, like Microsoft at the very beginning of that entire episode, like within a couple days of the deal being announced, they said they were going to treat it like Minecraft. And nobody ever thinks of Minecraft as a platform exclusive game, even though it is on Game Pass and everything else. So, I don't know how literal they were in that, but if they truly do, and Phil even just said recently, And I just try to pick up these pieces, and I'm like, oh, like the way he said that was, we're not trying to sell consoles with Call of Duty. Like we're not trying to, move consoles or ship anything.
Right.
And might take that. You might take that at face value, and if that's the case, they might have. It may not just be a single brand on the marketing. I don't know that for sure, but I think we have to at least accept that possibility as well. And that might be why you're seeing the change. And maybe you will see Microsoft included in it, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's exclusive either. So I don't know, but
right.
I don't have any sources. I'm totally speculating. And I thought that was interesting. Yeah. I thought that was interesting. And I know like if you mention that, people get mad, but if we take it at face value, if you take it at literal, what they said to everybody on the news,
right?
2 days after, and what Phil just said yesterday, and you're going to treat it like Minecraft, that's how that works, right? So we'll have to see. Like I don't think that excludes them from marketing it themselves, but at the same time, maybe they put all the platforms at the bottom, like when they list them all out, PC
and Microsoft. I'm sorry, and I'll right there to you.
No,
Microsoft has the money to where they could actually pay off those because for them, the most benefit.
God, yeah.
But I'm just saying,
easily.
if they pay them a ton of money, like whatever the compensate what they paid them to Microsoft, it'd be worth it because it gets them in the mindset of Game Pass, Call of Duty this year, this holiday season.
Yeah, I agree. I want them to do it. Make no mistake. I just don't think they will. I mean, I think it's more likely that like what Bad Mother is saying. Maybe it's even like, okay, you guys want parity. You want your 10-year contract. These contracts are never black and white. They're like what Bad Mother is saying. I've dealt with contracts. I've written contracts. They are never just the one thing. There's a bunch of other stuff where you try to jab them. It's just like union contracts, right? So I would, if I'm Microsoft, I say you can market. We're also marketing. Like no one's getting marketing rights. Everybody's marketing it. Like that's what I would do. But I don't know.
I would have preferred if they were this aggressive with their previous acquisitions. I remember saying when they first started back in 2018, acquiring like the first 5 studios in their run of acquisitions, and we saw like Obsidian was making The Outer Worlds and. I would have preferred they would have like, nah, this stuff exclusive over here, fam. Like and within our ecosystem and the whole. Okay, so we acquired ZeniMax Media, and Ghostwire Tokyo is going to be a year exclusive on PlayStation. So is Deathloop.
All right.
Okay, so how much is that worth to you? Really? Like go to Sony and reverse that. Or at least make it so they both come out at the same time. I would have if that was just me, I just would have been that aggressive. If this is what they're doing with Call of Duty, I would have did that years ago with the rest of the acquisitions.
Yeah.
Something else you got to think about too is that now that Microsoft, or I should say, now that Phil is in the position that he's in. I mean, Phil Spencer is now not that wasn't important before, but now he's the man below Satya when it comes to these kind of decisions. So now if there was some older voices in the room that were like, gotta do this, gotta keep it balanced, blah, blah. And then it finally is like, hey, it's time to like you said, SlowMo, to slow down the gauntlet to basically, if it is an exclusive, we need to make sure everybody knows where they can get it. We do have a quick super chat that popped up, and then I'm gonna turn the floor back over to RHETRI because he never told us what he's looking forward to coming from the ABK deal.
Sure. Silent Cypher with the $5 super chat. Sony making all these recent moves reminds me of my stomach after Del Taco. Don't you? I can't. I shouldn't have said that aloud. My wife loves Del Taco, so that's blasphemy in this house. Volatile, very uncertain. What's likely to happen next? Good evening, Pano. What's up?
Oh, you know what's about to happen next.
That's
30 minutes on the toilet was about to happen next.
Silent Cypher. That's kind of a shitty thing to say. Love you.
You know, one thing, and I don't mean this to like make it an hour for RHETRI to get to his first topic.
No,
Now you get it. Yeah, you get it. Do your thing.
Yeah, I have to leave in like 4 minutes. Thanks, guys.
Yes.
SlowMo, we should turn it back over to SlowMo if he has anything else.
You good? Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, the thing I was thinking about though, I know everybody. We keep going back to like the console wars, right? Like like they need to make this exclusive to compete in the console wars. I really think, especially with something like Call of Duty and ABK, I know this was bought for mobile, but the other thing is obviously Call of Duty is big across the board for console, mobile, subscriptions, PC, like the whole bit, and. I think there is a risk, when you make that kind of investment in Call of Duty is such a big part of that investment that I really do believe Call of Duty is much bigger than the console war. I would,
oh my God. Yeah.
And not just talking about exclusive, but across the board, I really, to the point I brought up earlier, and I was starting to think about this more, where they say they want it to be Minecraft. I don't think they want to allow any vacuum on the PlayStation or any device. And I think that they're going to continue. It would not surprise me if they still allow Sony to still mention it's coming to their platform, if they're going to still include it, mentioned on all the platforms, because the thing is, it's not. Again, if this is going to be bigger than that, and it's all about increasing the mind share, increasing the amount of engagement, because that's what you do when you invest $69 billion, right? It's not that this isn't just a strategic investment; it's also financial. They do want to recoup that money. They do want to grow this. They want to do what they did with Minecraft and make it even bigger than it was before they bought it. And if that's the case, indirectly, it's going to help their platform. Indirectly, the fact that you're going to launch it on your PC app and you're going to launch it, it's going to be in front of, it's going to advertise Game Pass to the soccer mom, right? So indirectly, it is going to lift up your platform. And what you don't want to do is diminish it on the PlayStation, make that base go, you know what, maybe we'll go to Battlefield. Maybe we'll go to whatever Sony's gas games are, right? Like you don't want to create that environment. And I really, the more I'm thinking about it, I would not be shocked that they just advertise across the board, and they want it to be even bigger on PlayStation than it's ever been, bigger on every other thing.
Of course they do. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, because indirectly
print money,
right? Yeah. It's printing money, and going into the next paradigms of gaming, kind of where everything's going is 10 years from now, your app's going to be more important than whatever people aren't even going to talk about console sales anymore. I think, you're just going to do everything you can to protect that brand, right? So just keep that in mind. Because I can see a world where they come out and we start to see the advertisements, and I can see where they list all the platforms and people start getting angry because they still think in terms of Xbox versus PlayStation, who's selling the most consoles. And I think you got to think about this entire purchase much differently.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We do have a nice gift from Highlander. We read that out real quick.
Highlander 001 with the gifted 5 WebDave. I like how it says gifted 5 WebDave memberships.
Well, it's because the channel name is under my name.
No, I know. I just love that it says that. Yeah. It's like the gift of WebDave. There you go. 5 of you got it. You lucky duckies.
All I can say is it melts in your mouth, not in your hands. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Eminem reference. Okay. And the gifted members that they got that were Timmy. Emmett Kumar. John Wolf got a membership given to him. Kingfish, and I'm going to butcher that one.
Chrysia? I don't know. I'm not going to. Chrysia? Yeah, we'll go with Chrysia.
That's good. We'll go with that.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
And
congrats.
No disrespect, we just congrats.
I love butchering names on this podcast.
So one thing I did want to, because I know SlowMo's very short time. Do you have enough time that if we threw a topic at you, you could give your viewpoints, or do you need to go ahead and go now?
I could do one more. Let's do it.
All right. So
I get it. I mean, we got to talk. I didn't want him to leave before I talk shit about Spider-Man. No, I'm just kidding. Before we talk about Spider-Man, because I kind of feel like I know where SlowMo might be sitting on this, at least when it comes to all the crap that's going on there with with the bugs and Spider-Man and all that jazz. Obviously, we're seeing Twitter go nuts on the Xbox side. A lot of guys. Well, it's a little mixed bag of everybody, showing a lot of the bugs that are happening in Spider-Man. I just want to throw in my 2 cents as someone who, everyone loves to say, but I didn't see those bugs. That doesn't fucking mean they're not there. Okay, stop saying that shit. We get it. Like, I had Starfield crash on me when no one else was crashing. Just FYI, it happens. But bugs happen. But I guess SlowMo, like, the way I kind of want to go about this, like, is there a double standard? Are we seeing like, is this just fanboy bullshit going on, or is there a real actual double standard and some bias going on where we can't criticize Sony games, a game like Spider-Man, but Starfield can get blasted all day long and it's fine. What's your opinion on that? And also, I kind of want to know which game do you like the best out of the 3 that you've played so far? Miles Morales, maybe.
I'll say that last question first. So far, I'm enjoying Spider-Man 2 so much, and with the changes that they've made, I think I will probably, when I beat this game, not be able to play the previous games anymore.
Yeah, I have heard that. Is that
because
the traversal with the flying, like just getting around? People love it.
The traversal with the web wings is excellent, in addition to the actual combat. So they took out the gadget wheel. So you know how, like, in typical Insomniac games, you have the little weapon wheel, the gadget wheel with slow combat down as you're choosing a new weapon or you're choosing a new gadget. They took that out completely. And so now it's like map to L1 is your abilities and powers, and map to R1 is your gadget. So you would just prior to combat, go into the menu and you would choose which ones you actually want to use. Because frankly, you go to the previous games, you got 8 gadgets. You may have used 3. You know, like most people didn't use all those other gadgets.
I definitely did not. You were absolutely
so you
right
just pick and choose the ones you want, and when you were in combat, it just flows so smoothly. You don't have to stop and think about which one I need to go do. No, you just keep fighting. You pick what was now on cooldown. You keep going. It's great. That side of it, and the fact that I think the story in this one is so much better than the story in the previous 2 games, is the reason why I would say this one probably will end up.
You like the story better than Miles Morales?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. I really like that.
I enjoyed Miles' story. Okay. I just felt it was too short-lived. It was very much like, hey, there's a problem here. Oh, my friend is the bad guy. Hey, friend, stop doing that. Okay, all right, you're not going to stop doing that. Let's fight. Okay, now it's over. So it's just
credits, right?
Roll credits.
Way to dumb it down, SlowMo.
It was good, but it was just like But this one has got like Miles has got his own like plot points and stories going on. Peter's got his own thing going on. They brought back a lot of the unanswered questions from Spider-Man 2018. You see the incorporation of stuff like the Spider-Man app that they introduced in Miles Morales. A lot of all that stuff is all coming together in this game, and it really works. Now, to get to the bugs issue, I put a tweet out earlier today, and because I see a lot of people like picking and choosing when things are super important. And so there's a difference between a minor bug and a major bug. Major bugs are where like you have lost like hours of progression. You're like, it's a save problem. Like I gotta do like quest over again. And some people just drop a game at that point. I'm not doing all that stuff again. Or I lose a weapon, or I lose something significant from a bug that occurred, or I can't progress any further due to a bug. Those are major bugs where it's like, why did you release the game in this state? What are you doing? That and performance issues, right? Minor bugs is when it's like, for example, and this bug is still there because I just played Miles Morales last week. I'm Miles is pretending that he's going to join the underground with Finn. She walks him into the underground. As soon as her mask turns on, her neck snaps and her body just drops. And I'm just like, the heck? That wasn't supposed to happen. And I'm sitting just looking at her crumpled body and was like, started walking around, and then all the other underground people aren't talking to me. None of the stuff that was scripted was supposed to happen because Finn was supposed to speak. So I had to restart at checkpoint, but it restarted me literally right where it started, right? So it wasn't like I lost stuff. And yeah, it can be annoying to have to restart at checkpoint. But even when I got the bug in Spider-Man 2, the slowdown bug, where I beat the last enemy, and this guy, I kicked him off the boat, and he's falling off the boat in slow motion for like 5 minutes. And I'm just like, bruh, come on. All right. So I hit restart at checkpoint, but it just restarted me past that part, and I'm at the next like little section. So these are minor things. They are bugs. They are absolutely anyone who's telling you there are bugs in this game, you guys are just making it up. They're full of it. These bugs are there. Like, people aren't making it up. They're there. And how they got there, you know, like apparently. I'm
laughing at this invisible Spider-Man.
hey, that's a good power to have. You know, the enemies can't see you.
It's a feature. It's not a bug.
but it's like, I think there's a lot of people, and this is where it gets into the fanboy side of things. There's a lot of people who are upset. Oh man, that's I want to have my birthday. That's scary.
Yeah, don't listen. Don't let me stop you. You keep going. Oh, is the audio on it?
Yes, mute the audio.
Yeah, the audio's on.
Big deal.
But there's a lot of people that are taking the bugs, and they're seeing what happened with Starfield, and they're just like, okay, so now it's our time. But then my whole thing is like,
time to shine.
Back when Starfield came out, did you have the same energy that you expect people to have about this? So it's both sides of it, right? Because there are people that are like, oh, you guys went in on Starfield, and now you're saying let's be nice. And of course, if someone was going around pointing out every single bug in existence in Starfield, and they're just like,
shout out to J-Rock,
these bugs in Spider-Man, then like, no, you're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite, bro. Like they're gonna keep pointing it out. You should have never opened your mouth, right? But then the flip side of it also is the people who wanted fair, rational analysis for Starfield aren't doing. If you're not doing fair, rational analysis of Spider-Man 2, what are you doing? You're also being a hypocrite. So that's why my whole tweet was just like, to discern between someone really being disingenuous and someone not.
Right.
Like if someone got a bug where like every time they loaded into Spider-Man 2, as soon as they started swinging, the game crashes. They can't go nowhere. They can't do anything. That's a major problem. Fix this issue or give them their money back. I don't care, you know, what PlayStation's policy is. Something needs to give, right? Versus the issue where I put on Spider-Man with the cape, and the cape is cutting through his body and everything. And I'm just like, what the heck? Like, I'm never putting on this costume again. And it's just like, there's levels to it. And I said the same thing with like Starfield. Like the people that were going in on Starfield, I was like, yo, like, this is the least buggiest Bethesda game they've ever made. Like, you guys are doing a bit much. Like, some of these NPCs are butt ugly, but who the freak cares? Like, why are you staring at the NPCs? The only issue that I had that was a major bug in Starfield, and this is only one, was when there's I don't know if anyone, I know Kay Asante dealt with this.
I saw some cases, yeah,
but like, there's a bug with Sarah Morgan near the end of the game. And with Sarah Morgan, she's supposed to have a conversation with you at the lodge with Walter, but she tries to have that conversation with you anywhere, and it's just
that's weird.
And so Walter has something to say, but he's across the galaxy.
That's my favorite one. This is my favorite one right here.
This is the best one. This is the best one.
He keeps going for it. This guy's committed. Good for you, sir.
Hey, look, man. You get all in there, man.
Oh man.
I mean, boys got to eat, right? What?
I mean, like, look, I'm kind of with you, SlowMo. Like, I'm more like this is me poking fun. Like, I agree with you. You had your tweet out there that's like this is as I'm saying that, it's a major bug. There's minor bugs and there's like game breaking bugs. Game breaking bugs are the ones that matter. But there's also like the side of like the actual, not just fanboys being fanboys on Twitter, but the actual media backing up Sony versus like Starfield, where I've witnessed like multiple articles from everybody, Mashable, Kotaku, IGN, like shitting on Starfield and its bugs, and then comparing it to Sony games and whatnot. And I don't see that same media bias on a game like this. And it brings up the people were talking about. Do we
mean it for the reviews, or do you mean it for the post-launch media?
Post-launch. I'm talking post-launch.
Okay.
Yeah, not for the review, because I think what happened was, it sounds like there was some bugs before the latest patch came out, and then the latest patch just exploded with bugs. Introduced a bunch of bugs. So everyone who reviewed it, I mean, we saw. Look, if you don't believe guys like ACG, you're not. I don't know who you're gonna believe. I know who you're gonna believe, because he said himself.
Is the most
he's as legit as it gets.
Reviewer out there, right?
Yeah. And he didn't see much, and he tested it last night, and now he's seeing a ton of bugs. So he's saying, like, post patch, there's obviously problems. John Linneman said the same thing. But
I wonder how, because I remember them saying they were introducing a day one patch to fix some issues with cutscenes. But then a lot of this stuff is not in cutscenes. A lot of this stuff is just you in the open world. So I wonder what they did to break their own game, and if they even know. Because if they don't know what they did to break it, that's problematic. Because then when the patch comes out to fix this, it's going to be a minute.
Well, and we've seen that happen before, right? Like where patches come out and they fix one thing, and then sometimes it's like you move one thing around and you break three others, right?
Dude, I played the Division. I was a big Division fan. That was the common theme with the Division, was they would come out with a patch to fix something and break like 5 things afterwards. And so it's but that's a live service game. You don't expect that from a single player experience, and so this becomes a bit unusual. I think, didn't Jedi Survivor have something like this too? Where it was like
Jedi Survivor had some. Definitely had some
patch
day
fixes
one patch
one thing issues. and then broke a bunch of others.
Oh man,
these are cracking me up.
Well, I want to give SlowMo a chance to get out his info real quick because I know he's got to go, and I definitely want to make sure that and of course we'll get back into this topic. We're not done yet. Plus we got a couple of quick super chats.
No, I'm still cooking. I got a while to go.
I know. Trust me, I know. But to be fair to SlowMo, and we greatly appreciate him being 100%. Here tonight. SlowMo, thank you so much for joining us tonight, man. We really appreciate any of the time that you get to spend with us, man, because we love having you here, man. So please tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me on my channel, SlowMo Backslap, with DPS Podcast. That's Damage Per Second Podcast. We got a channel for that too, with my homie Gaming Forte, who's in the chat, probably not playing Spider-Man 2 or Halo Infinite. He's probably playing some trash like Destiny right now. But outside of that, I love him. I love him. He's terrible, but I love him. But no, we do our own podcast Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come check us out, and I gotta get to work, so I'll holler at you guys later. Peace.
SlowMo, is good to hear from you, man.
Thank you, SlowMo. Appreciate you, man.
Awesome having him here. Awesome.
Later, brother.
I love him here, and he also does a really good guest spot with Assassin Luca as well too. So Ash and Luca, you definitely want to check that out. Ash and Luca, you definitely want to check that out. She's amazing. She's been a guest here before, and hopefully we'll get her back on again. Let's read these 2 super chats, and then we're gonna see what OBM has to talk about, because I know OBM's got some slander for this. I know he does.
John Wolf with the $5 super chat. Shout out to Gamers Council and Insomniac for giving my Cuban peeps some love, even if it was an error. Yeah. Shout out to the Cubans. My knees are still here, SlowMo. Sonic is king. Is it though? I think Mario would disagree. Jax82 with the $5 super chat. Do I need to play Spider-Man 2018 to follow the story before Miles Morales, or play Miles and go straight to Spider-Man 2? I kind of feel like you kind of have to. I mean, I guess you don't have to, but they really do tie into each other. But they are very good self-contained games, in my opinion. I'm a fan of Insomniac.
Especially since these are really, really story-driven, right? Like, I think...
Yeah, some games are story-driven.
A lot of games you don't really need to play the previous games, but I think when you were talking about something that's very story-driven, you either want to play the first couple, or go to a real extensive, story recap. There's people that put together pretty good recaps online, so you can always do that as well.
Yeah. And shout out to Gaming Forte. He says he's playing Battlefield, and he will be one of our guests next week. So looking forward to having Gaming Forte on next week. Somebody did put in there. They said, "Oh, there you go." It says play the first skip
Miles, I guess. Yeah.
There you go.
I love Miles Morales.
Miles is short too, though, right? So you can.
It is. Yeah, it's short. I mean, we got to remember, like, Miles gets a lot of crap because it was a DLC that became a full game that was then priced at $50 when it first came out. So it's hard to compare Miles to a full-blown Spider-Man game because it's a full-blown actual game. So yeah, Miles was definitely shorter. These are cracking me up.
And I hate to do this, man. I know. Bear with me 2 seconds. But I noticed that they're actually in the chat right now. Adidas 20 gave us a $10 super chat earlier in the week. And Adidas, if you're listening now, we want to make sure that you thank you so much for that in the comments. It was awesome. So, but I noticed him in the chat a few minutes ago. Sometimes people jump in and out, and I just want to make sure that he heard us. That we are grateful for that. So okay, so RHETRI, we got to put this question to One Bad Mother. I'm ready for him to unload, and then I'm ready for you to unload.
Pause. Yeah. I'm just curious, like, where you stand on this whole thing. It's a lot. I'm encompassing a lot of stuff here. So there's like the Twitter side of this, where you got like my guy J Rock. Shout out to him for giving me infinite amount of Spider-Man slander. And we got like Black Viking out there doing the God's work. As someone who is looking forward to Spider-Man big time, this is the game for PlayStation that I want to play. But now that I'm seeing these bugs, it's almost like I don't want to spend the $70. I don't want to say it's okay. I want them to fix it. And I'll probably get this on sale anyways because I'm cheap. But One Bad Mother, what do you think of this whole like console war thing, like the tit for tat thing of, did all the bugs for Starfield. We're going to do the same. Keep that same energy, as the kids say on Twitter. And we're going to shove Spider-Man and all their bugs in your face. And then there's the side of the media. You can get into that, but I'll let you start cooking on the Twitter fodder that's going on.
Yeah. I mean, console war stuff's been going on since forever. Forever.
It's not new.
And it's it's as soon as we had the internet, that stuff's been been going back and forth and all that, whatever. And that stuff's temporary. That's not even really. I don't know that there's much story there. It's like, of course people are going to do that, and of course people are going to be a little bit, hypocritical to their team, right? The same thing we see in sports too. People usually overrate their own players and underrate everybody else's, and you see a lot of the same thing in that. So, like, I don't read too much into that. Sometimes I think some of those guys are creatively funny. Some of them, as long as they're not being personal, I don't really care either way. Now, the media stuff is interesting because I remember before Starfield came out, there was some talk about it.
Here's a nice. Thank you, Jay, for providing taking 10 minutes and he found all these things. Like, come on, guys.
And I definitely feel like there's something to talk about there because before Starfield came out, I remember like some of the chatter was, will it get a fair shake? Is it because it's been pulled off of PlayStation? Is there going to be any backlash? All this other stuff. And I remember arguing with people. I says, Bethesda's their games are some of the most beloved. Probably people that are fans of Bethesda games will be reviewing them, just like fans of Halo end up reviewing Halo, and fans of driving games reviewed Forza Horizon. I expected that to go kind of just more par for the course. And obviously I was wrong. And sometimes I got to admit when I'm wrong. I thought that, my issue really wasn't with, certain sites giving it a set. Like, I can see how somebody can play that game and not have the same experience as me, like, especially depending on how you play the game. It is my game of the year, probably. It's amongst my top 2 games of the generation with Elden Ring. But I can understand why not everybody's going to feel the same way about it. What really kind of had taken me back, or what was sort of jarring to me and felt really stood out. Like, I think as somebody, even if you want to just go, oh, all this is nonsense, stop, don't, what I can't remember, like, think of the articulate the words or whatever, but like the whole defensive attitude and everything like that,
right,
the tribalism, like even if you tried to pull yourself away from that, it was hard not to notice that every day there was some article, and it wasn't just that there was people calling out bugs. It was just the amount of negativity versus positivity for a game. I mean, again, at the end of the day, it did review in the mid 80s or whatever. It is one of the most played games. So regardless of whether, even if you said, hey, I played it 10, 20 hours, it didn't hit, it was worst one for me. Good, cool. I can see that. But at the end of the day, if you look at the aggregate, the total amount of people for a game to have the engagement it did on Steam, like a month to 2 months after, the percentage of people it kept for a single player game, when you see this in the top 10 on the Xbox, obviously there's a lot of people that are really, really engaged in this. And so when you really look, because why you're not going to keep playing a single player game that you don't like with all this other stuff out.
I would think not. Yeah.
Right. Like one of the best years we ever had in gaming. You don't need to stick with something that's disappointing you. There's no reason to. So obviously you kind of look at one side of that where there's all these people that are loving it. It did rate pretty well at the end of the day, but you got nothing but the clickbait negative titles. I mean, some of the stuff, some of them aren't on here, but there was some really wild takes.
Oh yeah, that's a lot more than 6.
Yeah,
it's a lot more than this.
It wasn't just about bugs. It was about the player base is dropping like flies. I'm like, dude. Oh
yeah.
It's still like single player wise, we haven't seen anything like this generation in terms of engagement.
Yeah.
So that makes no sense. But just some of the wild titles. So to answer the question, I circled the wagons like 3 times. I do think we do have to consider bias, but I don't think it's the way that I think console warriors think about it. I don't think there's a media cabal that get together and say, we're going to take down Microsoft, we're going to take down Bethesda, we're going to crap on this game. I think that there's a bias towards clicks and engagement. And I think that
fair enough.
Negative Starfield articles gain much more articles. Like if you go look at some people's channels, I mean, if you just search Starfield, there's channels that got hundreds of thousands of views, people you never heard before that put together crap content, and all they do is put a negative, and they've made a living. Like you go through their history, it's nothing but that, and they're all got just like negative Starfield articles made these sites lots and lots of money, and I think that's just kind of where we're at in. And it's unfortunate. I think maybe as an aha moment for me to kind of like look at that and go, this is kind of the age that we live in now. And you think about it with everything, right? Like whether it's politics or anything else, it's not about like, let me just evaluate the situation and just report on this or comment on this as even keeled and as objectively as I can. It's about, you have to engage the most extreme emotions on it. And when you do it for something like this, because you have one side of the base that lost Bethesda, BGS, right? That don't want this to be good because they don't want the FOMO, right? They don't want to know that something was taken away from them that was good. They want to hear that it's bad. And then on the other side, you're going to get the defensive, the defensive, Xbox fans. And so,
yeah,
putting out the negative stuff, I think, is just negativity usually draws a lot more engagement than positivity. But again,
100%.
these sites have to be careful because you also don't want to alienate certain companies. Microsoft seems to, I mean, I know Bethesda's kind of picked and choose reviewers and things like that, but generally Microsoft has not held negative press against the outlets. They generally have still engaged with them. In fact, you could argue that maybe Phil tries too hard to like win them over and stuff, and maybe just like at this point, just like the engagement's going to win out. And so, you definitely do see an uneven coverage of things. But we also seen it with some third-party publishers, like EA is an easy one to be real, negative with.
True.
Ubisoft is easy to be negative with, and they're going to just give you the codes anyways. So, you can take all the shots you want at them and draw that engagement. And so I think Microsoft's another one. And I think they just maybe walk a little bit more of a fine line with certain other companies. and that is,
here's the thing, like we've heard, like you get blacklisted if you do it with Sony. So if you have the fear of never getting a review copy again and having to add that to your budget for whatever, for your magazine or your online, whatever, that's a problem, right? Like if you say something too bad, you get slapped in the hand by Sony, and Microsoft don't do that ever. They just don't. They just don't do that. And part of me wants them to kind of do that. Is to screw PC Magazine, Kotaku, and screw IGN.
Well,
you don't. I know. Like a lot of people will be like, well, that's crazy because they need IGN's marketing, but do they? Do they really in 2023 need an outlet like IGN? I don't know if they really need them anymore. And
they could hurt their business. If they
19 years of being in television tells me it's a different world now. You know what I mean?
Here's what I would say to that though, because I do get what you're saying. I think Sony can do that, and I think Nintendo can do that because of where they're at in terms of mindshare, consumer. Like they have a lot of equity to work with their customers and everything like that. They have such a big base. Microsoft is not in that much of a position. In fact, if they kind of did that with some of these sites could lean into that again. And I don't really think that
true.
Microsoft just doesn't. I think that they're long term. This is what I believe is gonna happen. So you understand this is just the game, right? It's about engagement. Don't hate the player, hate the game, I guess. These are the game. This is the game. These are the rules. Microsoft has to understand that, Sony has over 10 years has whether people like it or not, have built up a lot of equity. They have a super loyal base, both in the media and over just all around, right? Same with Nintendo. They have a longer history, and Microsoft's been more inconsistent because we had, there was Terry Myerson and Don Matrick. So, I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. And you had a Microsoft that wasn't sure they were going to be into gaming. And then once they were, it took 5 years to kind of get that shit moving again. So, I think understanding the rules of the game, the one thing Microsoft has long-term, I don't think they should, I think they should just kind of like pretend like just have a goldfish, memory towards this stuff and be
to stay par for the course.
Yeah, stay par for the course, because the thing that Microsoft will have long term is as things kind of move
is the
forward,
games.
Yeah, the first of all, they own a lot of games now. The Game Pass is a mindshare machine, and it is an engagement machine. It is a thing, and right now it's still only a toddler. Like it was in its infancy before Bethesda started getting up, started releasing games on it. It is still a very young service, big picture. ABK is going to do other things for it. And I think at some point when you have 60, 70 million people that are in or more long-term that are on something like a Game Pass, you're going to have the same sort of tribal, passionate, fan bases, and the media is going to have to kind of cater to that as well. I think long term, Microsoft has enough marketing, enough things to just improve that the environment for it. So I think that's the only way, because for them to fight the media like that, that's kind of like not even, that's fighting a symptom of it, not really the issue. The issue is they just don't have enough passionate people right now, big enough passionate base. And yes, there's a lot of people that play their games, but when it comes to people that consider themselves, Xbox enthusiasts, there's not a huge base there. So I don't think that they're in a position to fight it that way. But yeah, long story short, that stuff does exist. It exists because of
it works.
Because it's money. It's at the end of the day, if you own a site, if you Game Rant, if you're Kotaku, and we've seen Kotaku's been doing dumb
It's been a long time. Yeah, they've been doing this forever at this point.
Right. And others are just picking up on it now. It's like, you know what? If we throw out dumb titles, we can try to pull it back a little bit in the article because, whatever, but at the end of the day, people click on things because of the titles. And that's going to continue to be a thing until they just become, because negativity sells and they're just not big enough for now. But I think they will be able to handle that long term.
Not to interrupt, read that comment, RHETRI. I think that's actually pretty good.
Point. From Amit, he says, which is why sites like Eurogamer came out and wrote a whole article about not getting a review code for Starfield.
And that's the only thing is that can actually hurt Microsoft if they don't, if they do it wrong, then they can actually still make it, they can lay out all kinds of things. It's like, you got
to act bigger than that. You don't want to get, here's the thing. It's just like anybody who's a big reputable person. You don't want to get into a fight with a 12-year-old on Twitter.
Right. Yeah.
You got to act like you're bigger than that stuff.
Be the adult in the room.
Yeah, you do. You just have to be that. You can't get down in the mud. It doesn't, I understand anybody who says it, I fully understand what you're saying.
I agree. I get why RHETRI's upset about it, and why give them any?
I know why it works. This is what we did. We did this for a living. I did this for 19 years. I know exactly what works. We know what sells. We had the numbers. We had the metrics. We know when we did a story about kittens, ratings tanked. We know when we had a shooting, through the roof, every single time. It never failed. But RHETRI, ever. You know what I'm saying?
If it was about shooting kittens,
it would probably do this too, because it's like you can't look away, type of thing.
And to all the PETA followers out there, this was a joke. Satirical humor is allowed. All right then, but can we get a couple of super chats? Let's knock those out real quick, and then we'll get your position on this.
Yeah, well, I'm all over the place with it, but Highlander 000 with the $5 super chat. I think the media like IGN and other magazines started the console wars and kept them going for clicks for ad revenue. Absolutely. Once you see what works, it's hard to deny the money that comes in, especially what's going on. YouTubers are kind of taking over journalism. It's gonna die eventually, guys. It's going down. It's not gonna survive. I really don't think traditional journalism is in trouble. Jez said it today. You know what I mean? He knows the writing's on the wall.
Well, and think about that too, reviews, because remember High on Life, what did it get? Under 6 Metacritic, right? 7 million people played it. And you know why 7 million people played it? Number one, it was easily accessible on Game Pass, so it didn't cost people too much money. But then it blew up on TikTok. So that is the new. So when we say, when people get,
that's kind of what I'm getting at, OBM. When I say you don't need them, I understand Microsoft wants to be the good guy, but I'm telling you, you don't need them. You don't need an IGN. You only need an IGN when you want to continue playing the good guy, which Sony doesn't do. And I understand the market share is completely different. It's literally a 2-to-1 ratio, but who cares? Who cares? We're seeing in my opinion, Microsoft go in a different direction with marketing anyways. In my opinion, I don't think it's the necessary they're gonna write bad stories about you anyways.
Right.
So I'm kind of just screw you. Screw you.
Bad story about OBM. He's
You
such a
know?
nice guy.
Give it to Windows Central. Give it to The Verge. Give it to Tom Warren. That guy's like one of the only stand-up guys
He's
left.
good.
Give it to Gene Park. Go to do the what is it? Washington Post he writes for? Go to those guys who still have an ounce of integrity left in them. You know what I mean? Like go to those guys. Give them the exclusive.
Well, and I don't think
they're gonna write the
IGN,
stories about you anyways.
right? And I don't think IGN really gets much exclusive scoops, anyways, right? Like they pretty much, all their commentary is really left on.
They got those IGN first all the time. All the time they get shit like that. IGN first. Blah 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 blah. Watch our Redfall coverage of the fucking guy who can't play Redfall for shit.
Right. Yeah. Well, maybe you don't get them exclusives and things like that. But I, at the end of the day, the way you really circumvent all that stuff is you just fight on the new medium, and it's just like learn how to maximize social media, learn how to get a good share option on your console so that people can share your clips out on
Amen to that, OBM. Yeah, I like that.
Like learn how to maximize that stuff. And like I said, like High on Life, Atomic Heart got 5 million people. Like they're like subscriptions and social media are going to be the way that everything else. Really, the only way anything else stays relevant is if you, as the big dog, decide to make that relevant by getting in the mud with them and making it a story. Otherwise, just pretend like it's business as usual and ignore it. But I'm sorry, I cut you off. But
no, you're good. No, you're good. And I think you're like, I'm not saying like I totally disagree with you saying like, you kind of. I'm of two minds of this. I know what Microsoft's going to do. They're going to be the adult in the room. They always will. That's their thing. They're trying to get away from how they were in the 90s. They never want to go back at anyone looking at the company as a whole like that ever again. Mm-hmm. So they're not going to. They're always going to play the good guy. Go ahead, Dave.
One comment I'll say, and then we'll get to this next super chat, and then we'll get back to this topic. But right now, Sony is the quote unquote market leader. That's where a lot of the money comes in. A lot of people that buy that. As over time, as that shifts, and it will shift.
It will shift. Yeah.
You're going to see the reporting and those articles and stuff start to change. There'll be a few outliers that are just so burnt or diehard Sony that they'll still throw down their smack and trash. But you'll see a general consensus, I believe, over the next year or so as things start to change. I'm not saying they're going to jump to number one right away, but they're going to considerably eat into the market to where IGN and other places like that can't ignore that anymore because it'll start reflecting in their revenue. If they don't follow where the money goes, then they won't get their part of the money. It's inevitable. All right, let's read a super chat.
Yeah. Spartan661 with the $5 super chat says, I can play Sonic and Mario Wonder. Do I get punished for playing them? I don't want to play them at all. Pass the torch. Make me want to play them?
You play what you want, buddy.
Hey, you do you, man. You do you. I'm hearing great things about the Mario game. It's making me jealous. I really wish I did not get rid of my Switch, man.
I downloaded it right before the show. They talked me in.
So beautiful. It reminds me of like Super Mario 3, just prettier and just it looks so good.
And I have to say this for Everborn Saga, who was on our show last week along with Hargy Johnny, that we love Sonic. Sonic is amazing, and everyone should play Sonic because Everborn Saga says that everyone should play it, right?
Getting paid by Everborn right now. This segment brought to you by Everborn.
Exactly. Go ahead, Richie. I'm sorry, buddy.
No, you're good. I didn't. I wasn't. I'm glad we had SlowMo on here because I kind of had a feeling where he was gonna land on this because I kind of saw him on Twitter and stuff, which is good. It's good. Like, I know you like this too, One Bad Mother. Like, I like to get different perspectives of people. I don't want this to be a freaking echo chamber, and I don't want this to be a podcast where we just sit here and crap on Sony, especially as a guy who was very much looking forward to this game, even though Dave makes fun of it as being DLC. I'm sure it's a fine game, but there's something to say, like, I have a problem with some of these people, some of these guys I really respect on Twitter saying, like, toe the line. You're going off script. Your Spider-Man's not supposed to go that way in an open world fucking game. What are you talking about, brother? It's an open world game. I know you guys know who I'm talking about. It's someone I very much respect, but that was not a good comment in my opinion. That was not a good take at all. And I will fight him tooth and nail on that one. I'm sorry. Some of these guys aren't looking for these bugs. Some of them are. I know that. There's no doubt that some of these people are trying to recreate these bugs, but some of them aren't. We saw like some of this stuff is game-breaking bugs. It maybe not crashes, but when you get stuck in a damn box and you can't leave that box, guess what you got to do? You got to start the fucking game over. You're screwed. You have to. So that's as good as game breaking to me as it gets, right? Like if you can't continue moving on with the game, you get started over. That's game breaking bug.
Read that one.
It just breaks your rhythm. It just breaks your rhythm, like the immersion.
Kills the rhythm.
Even if it's just seconds, because there's that's happened too. Like I've recently done some PC gaming, and for whatever reason, some games in Microsoft Store like to just crash every few, and it doesn't. Even if you pick up right where you left off, it just breaks the immersion and everything that when you're in that moment, right? So I get that. Right. I get it, and I think that there is something to be said about there. I do think I wish there was a little bit more self-awareness where people are going, well, don't we're enjoying it. It's not going to break in my experience. Just be quiet about it. It's like, okay, but
but my experience ain't the same as yours, though, right?
Exactly.
That's the thing. Yeah,
and you're not very. It's about being consistent. So if you're consistent with how you are approaching these things, fine. But a lot of them are not being very consistent. So
Amen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Said there, Richie.
Oh, but RHETRI, the reason I come here is for the echo chamber. What will I do now? Well, for a Q, you can just go in and you can leave this podcast and just go in and play Halo with us at 3:00 in the morning, like you did last night.
For Q, you aren't allowed to leave. Ignore what he just said.
Exactly right. Don't listen to what I just said.
We've got over 150 people in chat, dude. This is awesome. So thank you all so much for being here, and welcome everybody. RHETRI, I'm lost. Where we at? Keep going.
I'm going to move on from this Spider-Man business. I know I feel like I just got heated. I'm sorry. It is, I'm passionate about this stuff, and some of the stuff I saw online just pisses me off. So I want to talk a little bit about the Halo. I told you all we'd circle back around on this sucker. Halo Infinite Season 5. I kind of feel like this might be the season that brings a lot of people back to Halo. I mean, we've already seen like an uptick. I can't remember what the numbers were, but they definitely upticked, obviously, as they do every season. But I'm kind of impressed with what 343 has been able to do the last couple of seasons. This season's called The Reckoning. We're getting all kinds of... we got some new maps. The new maps I really like. I can't remember the name of them right now because I'm not looking at it. But it's one where it's like a Needler world or whatever, and you can actually it's an interactive map where you can actually shoot at the crystals or whatever that are in the map, and it can spread out and kill people. I haven't done that yet because I'm busy shooting people. And there's another map that's kind of like a foresty type of map. Great maps. I think the designs of these maps were fantastic. I think they play very well. We got like a new weapon, I think, in the Evo, the Bandit Rifle Evo, which was also it's awesome. I absolutely love it. If you kind of get used to
in the game now,
it is definitely it's my favorite. Yeah, I would say I don't know when this happened because I've been kind of in and out of Halo, but also the Needler. What the hell? When did that get become the greatest weapon ever? That thing is a beast. If I see someone with that, I'm literally running the other direction.
That's
I don't know
not
when
a
that
normal.
happened, people.
That's not a normal Needler. That's a.
Is it a variant? Okay.
Yeah, it's a variant. Yeah.
Maybe that's why. Okay.
It's basically a power weapon, which is a cool little thing. By the way, that map is Prism. But
Prism. Thank you.
It's a cool little thing they did there, and that's it's the little details that you're seeing from 343 now under Pierre.
Yeah.
You can't give him in the new leadership credit for everything because
because it was stuff in transition, right?
Right. A lot of the stuff was there, but the things that I'm so impressed with what they're doing is it feels like these teams now know what the left arm knows what the right arm's doing.
Yes,
like, that's what it is. It's like these things are like more synergetic. Am I allowed to use that word on a Sunday? That's kind of a mundane word, right? But it's like more of a
too many syllables for a Sunday.
Yeah. Like all the things they're doing kind of makes sense, right? Like they're kind of like going together, like just the little details, and it kind of everything
quality of life stuff.
Yeah,
like what SlowMo said earlier, just being able to use all the different helmets on the different core bodies. Something we've been asking for forever, but it checks that box. We're like, okay, finally, it's a little quality of life stuff. I think that makes a big deal in a game like Halo. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think it's just kind of like the way they're kind of putting things together, and I think that was something that was in the works as well for a long time. The cross-core stuff, they heard about that. The fact that they released this game, like I said earlier in the show, the way they did without allowing that, whoever thought that was a good idea, that that wasn't gonna be a thing, is I don't know. The person's probably not there anymore, but
right.
But yeah, the little tweaks, the little balances, the thing they did to change the meta and the rake stuff is awesome. The way that they're kind of putting together the playlist right now, they make sense. The little tweaks to throw. Hey, this is a social map, so why not throw a variant weapon in there, right? Like that seems like such a little nothing thing, but it's a big deal because it kind of shows that they get it, right? Like it's like they're no longer so just in. It always felt like they were a bunch of really talented people with a really great base game they built and all these great tools with Forge, but they almost all existed in silos and they didn't know what each other was doing and none of the events made sense. And now it's all just kind of coming together. And I think right now we're probably getting close to the point where we'll be able to argue that Halo has gone from having maybe one of the worst first years of a AAA live service to the point where this might be the premier live service game that's not a battle royale, right? Like in terms of like all the different options and game types and ways that you can bring different types of gamers in here now. You don't have to be a sweaty, competitive person to jump in here with some of the things, or even in just the right basic playlist. They're making a lot of things that I think are casual friendly, so we can recruit our friends, right? Like, hey, will you join me? It doesn't matter if you suck, or I mean, or it doesn't matter if you hardly. Yeah, it's fine.
Come on down, Dave.
Yeah, come on, Dave. It doesn't matter. But jump in the water. It's fine. It'll be fine. But yeah, so definitely, it's exciting about it, and I think that maybe the learning experiences will go a long ways as they kind of ramp this thing back up. And I'm hoping all the UE5 stuff is doesn't apply to the multiplayer. I want to see them just build on this forever, really. I don't need.
You like when it comes to like the whole UE5 rumor of the battle royale, do you not want them to use UE5? Stick with Slipspace, or does it matter to you?
Yeah, battle royale is probably its own thing, anyways. Like I think Warzone uses a different engine than their mainline.
I think so. Yeah.
So they could do that. But I think for the arena, the Forge, the big team battles, all this stuff. Yeah, just keep it in Slipspace. Just keep iterating on this forever, and this can exist as the hardcore, core, and casual, Halo stuff. And then if they go build a big mode in UE, fine. That's not going to hurt anything, right?
Yeah. I don't think so. I'm still curious to see if it's still happening, and what that would look like and how that would feel in UE5. So I'm kind of hoping it does happen, just so we have like a compare and contrast type of thing where we can see, okay, Slipspace versus UE5, what these different teams can actually do. I honestly, obviously it'll be a completely different mode if it actually ends up happening. But like this season gave us, like, we're getting Extraction. So we're getting a Halo 4 mode that's coming back, which is like the King of the Hill, where you're vying over like neutral territory and earning points by staying in that territory. We also got one of the best things I think about this season was the addition of AI for Forge.
Yes.
I'm already yeah, like I know the Forge community has been asking it for a while, but it's gonna allow them to do like a crazy amount of content. I think one of the engineers, when they were being interviewed, was talking about that he made a tower defense game using the AI bad guys coming in waves and whatnot. So when it comes to the Forge community, they don't mess around. There's going to be like a ridiculous amount of content that you're going to be able to make off of just the AI alone. And it makes it a little more interesting when things are a little slow in Halo and you're not, I got to cross like a huge map. You throw some AI in there and you have some action in between, right? So you're never feeling like a lull in the gameplay, which I think can be really cool. So I'm excited about the AI. I think it's a much bigger deal than maybe people realize now. I think in the long run, once the Forge creators flesh this stuff out, which some of these Forge creators now work for 343 because they were doing such a good job at doing what they're doing. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. And we get Firefight King of the Hill is going to be coming later on in the season. I don't think we have a date on that yet. As well as some Halo 3 maps that are coming back as well. So. And then we got the flood armor. We finally get a little bit of flood teased in there, and the armor would be nice if we actually get some like flood AI and more of that type of thing. But I'm happy, man. I'm happy with this season. It's actually getting me excited about Halo again, which is awesome.
Well, and Retri, to your point about the AI, I think there's an opportunity. I'm just going to say opportunity because it's not a prediction. An opportunity that the AI thing is transformative in a way that people are just way underestimating it. It would have been better if this stuff, if the game was delayed a year and this stuff was coming out a year after, and you retained 100,000 people on Steam or whatever, and like concurrent players, like what the potential would have been like exponential. But regardless, if they can start to win back some people here, the AI stuff, the fact that you can basically build stuff for people who are not even into multiplayer, that you can just continuously build content. I mean, you think about like the engagement Roblox gets. Like this is like this is like Roblox.
It's very much like Roblox, right? It's like Minecraft, Roblox, Fortnite does the same thing. So like, why not?
Who else can put together this? Like I know Fortnite has builders mode and a lot of content there, but who else puts in the AI where you can basically build campaign levels, right?
Right.
Like, and this is still stuff that's limited by the Xbox One. I wonder what happens when they basically just unhinge, like basically
cut the tie. Yeah.
Just cut the tie, allow people to build stuff that's next gen only. And the kind of campaign level potential and things like that, it could be endless. And it could be, again, if they can figure out a way, to make it intuitive, like the interaction, the UI, all that stuff, make it easy for people to find that stuff. It could completely transform the way people think about it. But today it's just an opportunity. It's something, and I think they got the right people in charge. So hopefully these people, Pierre and everybody, have a plan to figure out how to really maximize it.
Yeah.
I think like what he brings to the table.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I agree. I think Pierre, I had no clue who he was. I had to, like, when he took over, I had to look him up and see what his pedigree was. Obviously, he's been around forever. Guy clearly knows what he's doing. But I think them adding the playlist for Forge stuff front and center, I think it was last season when they first did that. That was the big step forward, where a lot of people were complaining about the lack of maps that were coming out and just the cadence of it not being fast enough. And I'm like, why aren't they using the Forge community to just do it for them? And they finally put it out there for a community playlist, and now it just. There's thousands of them. So they cherry pick the best of the best of what they think will work for most game types and modes and whatever. And they just put them in there, and you have infinite amount of content forever because of the Forge community. And never, right. It was actually unintended. It just never goes away. You know what I mean? So that's what's great about
and
Forge.
this season, on that note, this season they're remaking a bunch of the Halo 3 maps and throwing them in the playlist. So like, and that's all,
that's coming November or something. Like mid-November, we're getting that. So I'm excited about that.
We need Sidewinder, and of course we need the original Blood Gulch.
I love Sidewinder. Yeah, I mean, we're playing. I mean, so that's why I love Forge, right? When we were doing the community game night last night, we were playing. There's like 1,000 versions of Blood Gulch. Like these guys remade it to perfection and just did different twists and whatnot on it. So like, it's kind of unbelievable what you can do in Forge mode right now. And I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to enjoy it as a consumer because these guys are just way better than me and whatever I could possibly come up with.
Hey, Retro, read that comment.
Yeah, Luis Jose says, hey, hit the like button and subscribe, everyone. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know if we hit it yet. We trying to get to 1,800 subscribers. We're super close. But we would also like you guys, if you can hit the like button. It helps us immensely. It pushes us out with the algorithm to more people. That's how we have 100 and something live viewers, and we're getting 1,000 to 3,000 actual views after the fact. And that's a big deal for us. So if you guys could do that, it helps us out a lot. I appreciate it more than you could possibly know.
Hey, RHETRI, do you mind if I throw something up on the screen?
Yes, sir.
And this isn't slander. This is just kind of I think it's no, I swear it's not.
I don't care. You do you.
I will do me. But
that was evil. I think it's gonna be slander now. The way you just laughed.
All right. Not slander.
Oh yes, yeah. Phil going to see. Part of my brain was like, he went to King first. So there's a part of me that went, why didn't you go to Activision Blizzard first, you mobile whore?
No. This is exactly where it needs to go first.
I know. That's where I would go. That's where the money's printed. But yeah, so you got Philly boy going to visit the King developers.
To the family.
And yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah. F around and find out, Stockholm. I'll kill you all. Yeah. It's cool to see. I'm interested to see like how this is like how is this gonna affect Xbox in general. Yeah, we got Sarah Bond there, of course.
And there's Pete,
the booty, the peaches.
Phil.
Peaches, yeah.
I love it. I love it. This is so awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's another one that has like infinite opportunity as well with the the mobile stuff. Like I think like a lot of people on the console side look at that and it's like, oh, who cares about that?
Right.
You know what it's going to do though, because the thing is, we know Phil's not going to be there forever, right? Like we can't just clone him and keep him the executive of Xbox to the end of time. At the end of the day, the investors are going to make the calls on this stuff. What it's going to do is going to like dilute any risks they take for console PC, for cloud, hybrid cloud. And the other thing it's going to do, I think they're going to try to figure out over time how to use this with Game Pass and as a way to because I still look, the reason why I'm such a Game Pass fanboy, I guess for lack of a better word, is that it's not just money it saves me, because like at this point in my life there was a point in time where that would have been a big deal. Like I used to live when I was
paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, when I was initially a single dad, first off, I could barely spend any money on entertainment. So something like this would have been like crazy, as an option. But today, that's not the big reason. But I look at it as, we look at like what Shaun Layden has said, you look at what's kind of happened to, the lack of variety and risk taking in the AAA and the things like that, and how the market is not getting bigger, even though gaming is getting bigger. My hope is that this type of thing can start to blow up the subscription. And then the next step is that it pulls people in who maybe would have only played free to play mobile to try more core games. And you can start to feed those audiences, or you bring in just like they have Call of Duty right now as a, mobile game. You can start to do that with some other franchises and bring people back and forth across there. So I think there's a chance that this is actually going to increase the amount of core gamer content that we all love, because this exists both financially and the opportunity it's going to create for Game Pass.
I love that. I love that take. That we've talked about this in the past before when it comes to mobile, and like, you know, because everyone's eyes roll back in their head because they're listening to this. We're all console or PC gamers usually. So as soon as we start talking about mobile, everyone's like yawn. But I kind of agree. Like there could be a world where, you know, one hand washes the other, where I'm hoping that the success of King and other places allows Microsoft, like you said, OBM, to take chances, stay weird. I want Xbox to stay weird with their catalog and
Right.
not necessarily kind of do what Sony is doing right now and like kind of, you know, rinse and repeat, copy and paste stuff, which I love their games, but I like the variety of Xbox. I will take 85 score. I will take like 5 games a year that's at 85 over one Spider-Man every year forever. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Like,
yeah, keep taking.
If you're a gamer, you want more games, right? Right.
Yeah.
You know, taking chances. That's how you get your hi-fi rushes. That's how you get your Clockwork Revolutions that's coming out. That's how you get all these games that maybe they wouldn't take a chance on in the past. Redfall being one of those. Oops, but it happens. But we want them to do it right, and we knew they would. They're committed. It's going to be in Game Pass forever, so they have to fix games like Game Pass. So anyone who doubted that, I was like scratching my head, going, I don't think you understand what they're doing here. They're playing this is the long game for Microsoft. So I think we're gonna probably end this off with, because we're getting towards the end of the year, VGAs are probably coming up, and I want to just kind of go over, and this is gonna probably, you know, we're gonna talk about this again on other podcasts soon with other people, because I just like knowing what people think about this. Game of the year, like what. This is such a good year. I know I've seen like some like Mav comparing it to 2007. I love that because that's my 2007 is one of my favorite years. What has really hit for you, OBM? I know I heard you mention Elden Ring, which I love, which was like that was my game last time. That was my game last year. What has hit this year that it doesn't have to actually be nominated, doesn't have to hit the VGAs? What's your series of games that are contenders for game of the year, and at least for you personally?
Yeah, for me personally, well, I think I mentioned earlier, Starfield is definitely my biggest game for me this year. It's the most, for about 100 hours, it was the most obsessed I've been with the game. I put 170 into it. So, I've got far enough to kind of see some of the issues that a lot of people see in terms of like just random exploring and stuff. But I will say, like, thematically, the way it kind of drew everything together between the main story, the factions, the side stuff with your companions, the new game plus, all the way they brought it all together, and the fact that it was just fun. And I had to keep turning up the difficulty to keep it challenging. But the as long as you keep it in a way where you're kind of pushed to try to use other abilities and different, methods to get into through certain different situations. It's an ultimate sandbox game. They don't make these anymore, which is why the narratives around it's like past its time, or it's outdated game. It's like, dude, like freaking the reason why these games get so much engagement, not only the mods, but people just don't make these games very often, or at all, maybe outside of BGS. So that was absolutely an awesome experience. So that's going to be my number one easily. Nice. After that, I am
some honorable mentions by you. That's
Baldur's Gate. I mean, it's probably going to win, I think, on the Game Awards. That's a really, really good game. I thought it was. I do like isometric. I come from before I ever bought the OG Xbox, I was on PC and I was playing, top-down Fallout and Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. So that was how they meshed that old style of gameplay with, modern animations and voice acting and all that was really great. So absolutely, that was a great experience. Hopefully they put that on Game Pass so a lot more people can try that out this year.
I would love that. Yeah.
Liza P snuck in there for me.
Nice.
I know, like that doesn't, I did not expect that, but the more I kept playing it, I'm like, this game really only, there's a few spots.
I just love the world. I absolutely adore the Pinocchio twist on that game, and it's done so well. The puppet design is really good. Like, I really like it.
I would tell
Even though I'm
anybody.
getting my teeth kicked in, I still have not beat that game. You're good, OBM.
No,
That game is hard for me.
I was swearing a lot at points in that game, so definitely you gotta. But that's the awesome thing. They give you a lot more tools than other Souls games because you got like your Legion arm that
right.
There's different types that create different. They create different strategies and you can choose like, hey, I'm going to play more of this style or that. Like it really changes up your style. It's not just where you put your level up points into. It's not just those abilities. Right. It's that arm will change things. And then there's other things like other trees that you can choose from that will change things and other items. And, you get the grinder thing, which all these things, like, I love these games that you can experiment with, and they give you, they hit you in the face, and then you come back for a rematch, and you're like, all right, let me try this differently. Let me try to switch out my Legion arm. Let me, try a different item here. And I think for anybody that plays Souls games, definitely give this a shot. It is. It does a better job than I expected with story, great music. The art's cool. I mean, everything about the game. It's got a few parts that I, will be frustrating. There's a mini there's a mini platforming section which I almost got me to quit. But like there's a couple areas in there. But once I got through that and figured that stuff out, I just kept going. So those are my top 3 overall. There's so many good things this year.
Yeah. I know.
And
I like your choices though.
Alan Wake's coming out soon. I still got to play the Super Mario and God, I mean, I don't know if we count Cyberpunk into the mix. Then
probably not.
And then you got the stuff that happened earlier that everybody's forgot about, Hi-Fi Rush and RE4 and
that's on my list.
Like and then Jedi Survivor, like those are all really, really good games. So this year,
everybody in the chat too. Go ahead and put your choice for. This is a so far list. There's some games that aren't out yet. So throw a name in there, and I'll put it up on the screen of what game legitimate that you think. Some of the funny stuff coming up. But no, seriously, if there's a game that you really think that could possibly be game of the year, or we'd like to be game of the year, please put it in the chat, and I'm gonna try and throw it up there too. And another one that nobody should sleep on, because at the time when it came out, Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
I haven't even played it.
That's in my list.
Mine too.
That's it. Yep.
My backlog is stupid. My games I haven't played. Armored Core might be up there.
Yes, I haven't even played Armored Core yet.
I bought it. I bought Street Fighter. I haven't played that.
Street Fighter is another one. Yeah, someone said in that chat too.
Remnant 2. I just started on that, and I like the first
Mortal Kombat. Like Jesus, what if this is a crazy good year?
I hope there's no games for 6 months next year, because I want to get through all this.
I have a feeling you're going to be in a big
you in trouble.
Hey, Retro, read that super chat real fast, and then I want to get your take, and then I'm going to pop these up on the screen while you're giving your take.
Sure. Spartan661 with the $2 super chat. Xbox has the high ground, Anakin. Keep it up, Sony. Try it. Yeah, I agree. The trajectory
and the Death Star
is there, right? Smurf of War. I love that. Yeah, Ratchet and Smurf. Oh, they're just playing with Sony games now. I see what y'all doing.
There's some
Babylon. Babylon
Smurfs.
Sorry, I like that one. I'm easily entertained. Man, yeah. For me, you sons of bitches basically already said all mine. That's fine.
Sorry,
Starfield. No, it's good. I mean, like, I love that you went with Liza P though, because that's I haven't finished that game, but I'm really, really digging it, even though it's super hard for me. But for me, it's I want Starfield to win. I've said this. You can be mad at me. I think it's going to get snubbed so badly. I don't even know if it's going to even be nominated for Game of the Year. But I do think it'll. Starfield. I don't think it's even going to get nominated for. You can take my knees on that one if I'm wrong. I want it to win. I think it deserves to win. I don't think it's even going to be nominated.
Not even the nomination. Wow. Okay.
Nope. I think it's going to get art direction. I think it'll win art direction, and maybe some other categories. Music. It's very good in the music category, so I think music could definitely be something for Starfield should probably win as well.
RPG of the year,
but
Baldur's Gate will probably win.
Baldur's Gate's probably going to take it.
Yeah.
Like there's things like there's the what I want and what I think will happen. Those are almost always two different things, right? So like you said, Hogwarts Legacy, that's in my top 3. So it's like for me, RPGs are kicking butt this year. So for me, it's Starfield. I absolutely adored Hogwarts Legacy, even though it was in Unreal Engine 4. I don't care. I think they did a fantastic job with that game. And I think I'm going to give the nod to, as my third, Hi-Fi Rush. I just thoroughly enjoyed that game. Like really through and through. When I'm sitting there looking for imperfections and I just couldn't find any, it is such a solid damn game.
It's like the Dreamcast 2 came out, and this is like a launch game for it. That's it. And if you're a Sega fan, it's like perfect.
Yeah, I feel like if there's, it was so different coming from that studio too. And I feel like if there's any game that deserves like a Netflix series or something, every character was awesome. The good guys, the bad guys, 808, like every character on screen was fun to listen to and watch, and great. It was awesome. Raise a conks. Oh my god, you guys are going off. I love it.
I hope it gets recognized for something. Because
it's got it better, like art. I don't know, something. Best music game. I don't know what the hell the categories are anymore these days.
It has to be up there for art, right? Like it's got to be.
I hope. Yeah, it's beautiful. I have to. The art was so chest kiss on that one.
Yeah.
Red Dead Smurf. Oh my lord, you guys are great. Yeah, I mean, Magnum. I mean, Hi-Fi Rush isn't for everybody. I think it's one of those games that either clicks or it doesn't for you. And Hi-Fi Rush for me absolutely clicked, but it's not for everybody. But Dave, what are you? Dave's having fun. He's just loving he keeps putting up everyone's things. He's like,
there's so much slander. I love it.
There's so much good stuff in here. I love Gollum. Oh my god, Gollum.
Read that one though.
Gollum. He's making like all the dirt. Gollum, Rise of Kong. God, yeah, I think Rise of Kong might have actually gotten worse than Gollum. I think on Forspoken, Redfall, and everybody 1-2 Switch will be at the top 5 in Game of the Year. You never know. Yeah. Crazy things have happened, right? So
for me,
what do you say?
I'm going to say Starfield. I think that's I still think it's super strong, and with the sales chart coming out, I think it really reinforces that. Yeah, including all the people all the negativity. I mean, you had a lot of stupid takes, and no matter what anybody says, there was a lot of people that put in and went in and maliciously put a score down. When there's websites, I gave it a 0.
I got creamed. Like
So those, 100%. If you were to take those trash ones out, the ones that were just for spite, out, the score on this would have been over in the 90s on Starfield.
Yeah, I agree.
Or if it was on PlayStation, it probably would have been 10 out of 10, Game of the Year, blah blah blah. Yeah. And a good point too. Biggest disappointment.
Best selling. Oh yeah. What was that?
It's on your screen.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at a different. Really? Okay. Final Fantasy 16. Yeah, I guess I haven't played that yet. I know SlowMo really enjoyed it. But
here's another one for you to read, RHETRI. That's directed to you.
Torino Johnson at RHETRI. As a filmmaker, I've already wrote a treatment for a Starfield cinematic universe. Very nice. I plotted out 9 movies for this franchise. I want to make these films. That's really cool, man. I used to write scripts too. I have a ton of unwritten, unfinished crap that I used to make indie movies. So shout out to you, man. That's awesome. Good job. Keep that going. Hey, you never know, man. I seen crazy stuff. You could get a job in the industry. Yeah, I don't know. So you're going. What else? You got any others, Dave? Or are you just going to stick with Starfield? You got some honorable mentions?
Legacy would be a long shot for me because I really, I enjoyed it. It was a big surprise and it was really well done. And there is a lot of good ones. And to me, I definitely 1000% respect OBM's point about the Baldur's Gate. But to me, it just didn't hit, and maybe it's just me. I failed to see.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a very the genre
Yeah.
is very
The genre itself, I think, is part of the problem.
Yeah,
I think,
I was somebody that was. Now I will say I know this is just taking it off topic. I do think there was some. We see like sometimes that early impressions or like the lead people that were really, really excited about that game because it was for their genre who scored it very well. Sort of built up a momentum that kind of carried over to everybody else. I've talked to a few people that agree with me on this too. Like there was a lot of things that did get overlooked with it, which includes like, there's a lot of bugs in the final act of the game.
Act 3. I heard a lot of that chatter. Like
it's also not super balanced. Like it starts off really difficult and it gets super easy. And some people will say, well, that's just how Western RPGs are. A lot of times they're not balanced. But that still, like again, applying the same logic you would apply to like Starfield, where that's still a flaw, right? Like the fact it's not really well balanced. It doesn't have the same depth as like a Divinity Original Sin 2 in terms of builds and things like that. So I've thought, other friends that are into these types of games, a lot of them feel like a Divinity Original Sin 2 is still better outside of the production values, was better in terms of like the gameplay and the leveling up systems and things like that. So I do think so. I don't think that it's unfair to like, first of all, like, even if you are a fan of the genre, to point out flaws. To me, it's still top 3 of the year. I love the characters and the choices you had were able to outshine some of the issues. But I do see even people that are fans of isometric games might find that it's not at like 9.5 to them. It might be
right. Fair enough. I'm excited. I want to, play more games in that. I want to get into more games like that. So I'm excited for Baldur's Gate 3. Hopefully it does hit Game Pass. I'm not sure if it will, but I'm going to be playing it. So no hate over here. But yeah. I guess that's our picks, Dave. So Hogwarts Legacy should win. You're absolutely right, KDA. Or Starfield. I'm good with either of those. I mean, those are the correct answers. I know it's opinions, but that's correct. No, that's correct.
but and we showing here on the screen that November is when the nominees will get announced, mid-November, as far as, and then the people watching in chat, people in that are not necessarily in the industry people have their say as well, but they do allow for the people to vote, and you'll have your opportunity to see who, and don't worry, when the announcements get made as far as the list of what's available and what's nominated and what's not, we're gonna have a show dedicated to that slander.
That's gonna be a fun
discussion.
One. Yeah, you're right. It's gonna be some slander. There's gonna be some feelings are gonna get hurt that day.
OBM, we may have you back on if you're interested in talking about the Game Awards. So
I love Talos here. Says Hogwarts was a cool, trippy game for me, especially playing it stoned. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
imagine that.
Elevate your gameplay. Absolutely.
Exactly. So the award show is coming December 7th. So the one nice thing is for this year, for sure, is that Starfield is definitely eligible. So there we go. And I believe there actually is obviously the game of the year, but I believe I think it's like multiplayer of the year. There's also different technical and sound design, all that kind of stuff. But I also believe that there is a the sports / racer of the year. There's also a category for RPG and sim game and mobile game and all that kind of thing. So if you don't see a win in the main category for Starfield, I hope that at least gets nominated in multiple other categories because
shout out to Paris calling out Sea of Stars game of the year. I am hearing that a lot. I'm hearing nice. I haven't played it. It's in my backlog. I feel dirty not having played that awesome game yet, but a lot of people bringing up Sea of Stars as
Cocoon is another one that I keep hearing.
I do love Cocoon, but man, those puzzles were hard. But
welcome,
that's
Paris.
a great game.
Paris Lily in the chat. Thank you so much for being here, sir.
Shout out to you.
Paris?
I think of like best racer. That could be a spicy one too this year. I'm very curious to see where that lands.
Well, definitely won't be GT7. What was that?
I don't know.
Was it? Oh, I'm just saying.
Yes. Cocoon is great, Paris. Absolutely, very good game, man. Love that game. But,
yeah, Planet Lana, I like that one too.
Planet Lana, another great one. Yeah, I really like the story in that game. That was really good.
There you go.
So good shout out on that one.
Well, thank you to everybody for joining us tonight. Man, what a great show. A lot of fun. Appreciate everybody being in the chat, as well as a lot of our friends and cohorts that are that also do podcasting and have amazing, great content as well. Please make sure you follow all them as well. And let's hear from OBM where people can reach out to him. And I know you're probably not quite ready to talk about it, but you do have something in the works. Maybe you can kind of well, I mean, hey, you gotta. It's better to build it to where you're comfortable with it and you're ready to release it, than to release it and stumble all over it. So,
like I learned from 343, my from my favorite franchise. My favorite, I learned from my favorite IP. Wait till you're ready. No, I appreciate it, guys. It's always a great time coming in here and talking with you guys. Also great talking with SlowMo. Love him as well. And appreciate that you thought of me one of the top 2.
Betcha.
But yeah, it's always a good time. So much to talk about. It is therapeutic to be able to sit there and talk about some of the fun stuff in the industry right now. And it has been an awesome year. Hopefully the drama and stuff like that, if it is bringing people down, just kind of say it's all temporary. And they'll find the next
wait
thing.
24 hours. They'll find the next thing to bitch about.
And people will always do that. You're not going to solve it. But the industry right now, there's just so many good things going on, and and that's why I'm excited to eventually be doing more. I am going to wait till December though, get through my end of the year stuff at work now because a lot going on there. But if people want to follow me, my Twitter handle is mother_1 MUTHA_ONE, and I will pop up here and there on some of my friends' podcasts like this, like tonight, and get a chance to talk about what's going on that week. But look out for me. Hopefully, getting that channel finally up and running in December.
Very nice.
There you go. RHETRI, tell everybody about you. And of course, the description for everybody is going to be in the link below, or the description below will have all the links. I got that backwards. Wow.
Yeah.
Dyslexic and talking. There you go.
Yeah. Not easy when you're a podcaster either.
Not easy.
Yeah. You guys can find me Game Pass _daily. I talk about Game Pass and Game Pass Daily on YouTube. Getting up there, the subscribers, almost hitting 700. So I appreciate you guys helping me try to get to 1,000. It means a lot. I want to give a shout out to everyone who joined us for community game night last night. We had Red Dead Panda, that's my girl, Galveston, RSJ, J-Rock joined us, Drawn TJ, Dusty Uno, Jedi Peter Knight, Dreadpool, Powered Up, Game Trailers, Gothic Lolly, and Far Q, of course. Far Q from London joined us at 3 a.m. in the morning. Couldn't use his mic because he didn't want to get in trouble. I don't blame you. So yeah, appreciate that, guys. And I'll put the link to the community in there right now. So if you guys want to join and play some games with us, we're getting back into Halo a little bit. We'll definitely be playing COD. We play Fortnite. We play a lot of multiplayer stuff, but we also play fun games like Party Animals and just wacky stuff as well. So, come on down and join us. It's a lot of laughs, guys. Like it's just, it's a little crazy town there. So yeah, it
is a good time to be had by all. Thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Thank you to over 150 people we had live in the chat at one time. And if you don't mind on your way out, please hit that like button. We really, even if you're watching the replay, hit the like button. That really helps out a lot. And if you haven't subscribed to us yet, it's free to hit the subscribe button and then hit the notification bell for all of our channels. And then that way you can definitely find out when we're live again and when we've got things coming up. And for OBM One Bad Mother, if you want to make sure that you definitely subscribe to his channel and hit the like button so that when he does drop his new show, you won't miss it, and you'll be right there first in line to check it out, because I know it's going to be fantastic, because he is an amazing member of the community, and we're very blessed to have him on. Thank you so much, OBM, for joining us tonight, and thanks to everybody for being here. RHETRI, you're an amazing co-host as always. You guys in the chat rock, and oh my goodness, we have so many good things coming up.
So many good people in this community. Yeah.
So many good things. And there is a new video for me coming. Cool Cat Terry video going to be dropping tomorrow. A good interview with her. You should check it out. she's a pretty interesting person as well. And thanks to everybody for joining us here on Gamers Council.